Oh, for sure. Hapa tulipo ni kwa nguvu zake. I do accept that 100%. As you can see, we are a full team. Mike Migwe is here. Marie Yambo is here, as well as Unique. The DJ today is Entertainment Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday, and we've started it off just right, just how it's supposed to be started off. And you already know that we are going to be having an amazing show. You do not want to miss any bit of it. We'll be having youth and politics, which Mike will be letting us in on, and then we'll also be having the entertainment bits. We have some Thespians who will be coming on the show today. They are doing a play by the name of Threads of Trusts. You want to know more about that? This is where you should remain. We also have artists who are going to be coming through to the show. So it's a packed up show, and of course, Unique the DJ is here, and I am 100% sure that he has some new music for us. So Unique, good morning, and what do you have for us today?
Good morning, Vivian, Mike, Marie.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's good to be here today. And mnajuanga tu kama, if you see me on your screen, mnajuanga tu ni ile day ya vibe.
Yes.
All vibes and inshallah. How's you?
For sure.
Yeah, so today I have a good, very new music that's lined up for you kama kawaida. Like I'll just go through some of them, tuseme tu za East Africa. Yeah. So last time I was to give out, but I think time will hapa kidogo.
Yeah.
So they are still on the playlist. Kuna King Kaka, he has a new song inaitwa Unseen Guest, a very beautiful song. You can still go there on YouTube kama utasikia leo. Rayvanny, tukiingia pale TZ, he has a new song with Al-Kiba. These guys were Ochungulo family. They are back with a new song, and it was Zero Distance. Ethics were on another song, and it was Zama. Nameless, a very beautiful song, and it was Non-Stop. Niyo song imefanywa challenge sana na
Sana. I've been seeing them just doing this challenge.
And are doing that challenge. That is a very nice song. Naibo pia merudi na he has a new song with Iyani inaitwa Ananitaka. A very beautiful song. So those songs ndakuwa sample tukiendelea na show au sio. So stick it there. Right on your screen. Ama vipi?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, mention Nameless. I may cause a lot of challenges online. Kila mtu, especially even Nameless has been doing those kids.
The challenge.
Yeah, the challenge. Then his wife Wahoo. I think it's a good thing it's a good way to market that song.
But very good strategy, by the way, if you ask me. Yeah.
But all in all, welcome to Entertainment Thursday. My name is Mike Migwe, and as Vivian has alluded to, we have a segment here that is going to involve the youth, and today we are looking at the youth and governance processes. How can they be more involved in governance processes, and does just being a youth qualify you to get into those processes? Is that the only card you need to play? That is a conversation that is coming right after the news with Marie Yambo. I'll be having Tapitha Ogutu, who is a governance and development expert, and also Clive Lupao, who is a governance expert. That is a conversation you do not want to miss. Marie, how are you?
Fine, Mike and DJ Vivian. A very good morning to all of you joining us from wherever you are. My name is Marie Yambo, and definitely news is coming up in just a short while. We start with the highlights, where Kenya says it has enough HIV/AIDS supplies buffer stocks to last the country for 6 months in the wake of U.S. government suspension of aid to key health programs. NDP Kithure Kindiki dismisses as cheap politics his predecessor's one-term president remarks. Kenya and Egypt signed 4 key strategic partnership, and 2 children die, unfortunately, in Homa Bay after the fire razes their houses in suspected case of arson attack. I'll be bringing you details of that in just a short moment, including business and sports. We want to start with the president's visits to Egypt, where Kenya and Egypt have signed 4 key memorandums of understanding aimed at fostering strategic partnerships between the 2 nations. The agreements focus on critical areas such as maritime security, renewable energy, veterinary services, and electricity. During the first day of a 2-day state visit in Cairo, President William Ruto further called for collaboration in 12 other areas, including security, investment, youth empowerment, gender equality in higher education, and urban development for progress and stability.
During the signing of the MOUs, President William Ruto emphasized the importance of this partnership in addressing mutual challenges, particularly in trade and security.
These agreements will strengthen trade, investment, education, and technological exchange, unlocking immense opportunities for both our nations.
The president expressed optimism that the agreements will pave the way for increased cooperations in various sectors, ultimately benefiting both nations' economies. The MOUs also included provisions for joint efforts in peacekeeping and security, particularly in conflict-affected regions such as Somalia and South Sudan.
Discussions are at an advanced stage to finalize critical agreements in customs cooperation, security, tourism, mining, blue economy, sports development, and groundwater agreement. I trust that we shall swiftly conclude all the pending matters and have the MOUs come into force as soon as practicable. This will further reinforce our shared vision for economic transformation and sustainable development for the benefit of our peoples.
According to President Ruto, commitment to regional stability underscores the broader implications of this partnership beyond mere economic interest, as both nations will work to address the root causes of conflict and promote sustainable peace in the region.
Our continent is slowly becoming the theater of terrorism and conflict. And unless and until we have a coherent, cohesive, and well-thought-out plan on how to deal with the challenges of conflict and terrorism, our continent will continue to suffer the weight of underdevelopment, and no meaningful engagement, development, trade, investment, or progress can be achieved in our continent until together we harmonize our thoughts and revamp the peace and security architecture in our continent. And the place to start is at the African Union.
President William Ruto used the engagement to campaign for Kenya's candidacy in the race to replace Musa Faki at the African Union Commission.
Kenya undertakes to work with Egypt in all the other areas that are of mutual interest. And I did inform my brother of Kenya and Kenya's nomination of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga as its candidate for the chairperson of African Union Commission, and continue to seek the collaboration and partnership as we have done in the past for support of our candidates.
To matters health now, where the Ministry of Health will re-evaluate its budget to deal with disruptions anticipated as a result of the withdrawal of aid to key health programs by the United States of America. According to Medical Services Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai, the government is ready to handle any prevailing situation to ensure that there is a flow of services. This comes as the Health Director General, Dr. Patrick Amoth, assured the public of buffer stock for HIV and AIDS as supplies to last the country for 6 months. Nancy Okware with the details.
Countries around the globe have continued to brace for tough times ahead following the recent announcement by the United States suspending support for critical health programs. In anticipation of disruptions, especially in accessing HIV and AIDS, malaria and tuberculosis commodities, Medical Services Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai says they will review the budget.
We are going to sit down with the Treasury and make sure that we continue funding support to those patients who are receiving ARVs, those patients who are on malaria treatment. The nets we must continue distributing the nets, So it's just a question of now changing or adding additional resources through the National Treasury as opposed to where we're relying on the development partners.
At the same time, the Ministry of Health Director General Dr. Patrick Amoth has assured the public that following the suspension of the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief PEPFAR, the country has adequate strategic stocks.
That we have sufficient stocks of HIV commodities, be it antiretrovirals, be it the testing commodities. We have strengthened our supply chain pipeline in the last 1-2 years to ensure that at any given time we have more than 6 months of stock.
The Minister of Health says that some of the interventions in place to deal with anticipated disruptions include actively engaging with other development partners, international agencies and private sector stakeholders to secure alternative resources and fill the gaps in supply of essential medicine. Kenya is also emphasizing regional and global solidarity to support health financing. Other interventions include strengthening local pharmaceutical manufacturing to ensure self-sustenance. According to data from PEPFAR, as of September 2024, it supported 20.6 million people with antiretroviral drugs across 55 countries. This number includes 566,000 children. Kenya, which is largely supported by global initiatives, has 1.4 million people living with HIV and AIDS. Meanwhile, former President Uhuru Kenyatta has challenged Africa to harness the vast resources available in the continent to improve healthcare instead of depending on donor aid.
Let us be self-reliant by ensuring that we deal with the challenges that we have in order for us to be able to free resources for where they are most needed. I saw some people the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America.
The former head of state made the remarks in Mombasa County when he attended the East Africa Region Global Health Security Summit.
Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has dismissed former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his opposition allies for their one-term remarks during the launch of the new headquarters for DAP Kenya Party on Monday. Terming the remarks as cheap threats, Professor Kindiki says the government will not dwell on populist politics but will instead remain focused on service delivery for the people. Give us a minor with more.
In Karen, Nairobi, in a consultative meeting with leaders drawn from Tharaka Nithi County.
So usitutishe ati rais a one-term president. Pia watu wengine wanatutisha huko jana.
Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki fired back at his predecessor Rigathi Gachagua for claiming the Kenya Kwanza administration will be a one-term government.
President Ruto is lucky to be among the 5 Kenyans who have occupied the seat of President of Kenya. Some, 24 years. Others, 10 years. If he gets 5, so be it.
He said Gachagua boycotted his duties in the past 2 years and now had resorted to inciting the public after his removal from office.
There was somebody in this office. Today he's not here. Now he's giving us ultimatum from funerals. How he will make William Ruto a one-term president, as if that is an achievement.
Professor Kindiki is saying the government will not be swayed to backtrack on his programs by threats of political consequences.
William Ruto's objective is not to serve for 2 terms. It is to use the time that God will give him in office to bring transformative programs in 1, 2, 3 areas and then leave.
Throwing a jab at Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka, Professor Kindiki said he should also tell Kenyans what he accomplished when he served as Kenya's vice president.
Si Kalonzo Musyoka alikuwa vice president? Si ni kama mimi? Yeye alikuwa 5 years under Kibaki. So akifika pale Tharaka Nithi, the people will ask him, when you were vice president, can you give us one project hapa ile ulitusukumia?
Seemingly taking a swipe at Public Service Cabinet Secretary Justin Muturi, the Deputy President said government officials flying flags should quit fast and join the opposition before criticizing the government.
But you cannot be a Deputy President and sabotaging the same government, or a minister flying a flag and then you are sabotaging the same administration. Not possible.
Professor Kindiki vowed to revive all stalled government projects across the country to make true their promises to Kenyans before the 2027 general elections.
To the scales of justice now, where Sarah Wairimu, the widow of the late Dutch tycoon Tom Cohen, has pleaded not guilty to the murder of her late husband. The Director of Public Prosecutions, that is Renson Molele, preferred a fresh murder charge on her last week after finding new evidence linking her to the offense. Sarah, who has been in custody since last Friday, suffered another setback in her quest to secure freedom from the Langata Women's Prison, where she will stay until Monday, the 3rd of February.
Wednesday at Kibera High Court, Sarah Cohen was presented in court after spending 5 days in custody. The DPP and the DCI were combing investigations, including having Wairimu assessed mentally before pleading to the murder charge. Lady Justice Diana Kavesa was informed that she was mentally fit to stand trial. However, through her lawyer, Wairimu opposed taking a plea. The judge will then adjourn to go and look at the medical records before making a ruling in the afternoon.
Both parties can undertake to submit it at any time for the court's reference, but we request that the court allows that the accused person takes the plea, and using the words of the court, forthwith.
And when she walked inside the courtroom, Wairimu was ordered to take a plea.
Within Nairobi County, in the Republic of Kenya, jointly with others not before court, murdered Tom Chichu Cohen. Is it true or not true? Definitely not true.
Wairimu is accused of killing Cohen in 2019 and had previously been charged with the same offense before it was terminated in November 2022. For lack of sufficient evidence, we remain at Langata Women's Prison until Monday next week, awaiting bail ruling.
On 3rd of February at 11. Civil cases are confrontational. That is why we do physical attendances. So please pardon us for that.
The late Cohen's body was discovered in a septic tank at his Kitusuru home in July 2019. Elsewhere, the DPP is facing heavy criticism for delaying the prosecution of 11 senior police officers accused of murdering baby Samantha Pendo.
It is better to even allow 10 men to go scot-free than to incarcerate wrongfully an innocent suspect.
When the matter came up for mentioning, the newly transferred judge to Milimani High Court, Margaret Muigai, who has been assigned the case, was informed by the victims' lawyers that over the 7-year journey wait should kick off by the officers taking plea.
People are taking plea in the absence of others. They are charged with others not before court. But in this particular case, the absence of another becomes a ground to seek an adjournment.
They dismissed the DPP's argument that the absence of one suspect, Mohamed Ba, should delay the indictment of the remaining 10 officers.
Tomorrow in the afternoon, at about 3, I think I'll be able to deliver what I think will be the direction to the
Baby Pendo died after being hit by anti-riot police officers who are pursuing protesters in their home. With the Director of Public Prosecution asking for more time in Baby Pendo's case, the victims' lawyers have vehemently opposed the application, stating that justice delayed is justice denied.
Thank you, Ruth Wamboy. Now to the DRC conflict, where the escalating conflict in Goma, eastern DRC, could adversely affect Kenya's economy if not quickly resolved. Speaking in a phone interview with the KBC TV news desk, foreign policy analyst Gordon Kochola cautioned that Kenya's resources could be further stretched by an upsurge in refugees flocking the country from DRC. This as M23 rebels continue to battle DRC troops in Goma for the third day in a row.
For more than 72 hours, Goma city in eastern DRC has witnessed fierce battles between M23 rebels and the DRC army and its allies. The clashes, which have left hundreds injured, did not come as a surprise, with analysts citing DRC's government's inability to solely contain the rebels.
Then we saw when the East African Standby Force went to DRC, they were asked by DRC to leave. Kenya went there. Kenya was asked to leave the forces. The preceding events clearly indicated that there is a rift, a gap that is being created between the government and the rebels, and either of the side was to take charge. It's unfortunate that the rebels took charge before the government did.
According to foreign policy analyst Gordon Kochola, the nation has every reason to worry about the escalating tension in the DRC, since Kenyans have invested heavily in the country, especially in trade and financial sectors.
It should worry any Kenyan that, well, our people who are in DRC are at risk. But that aside, when there's a conflict, we've had conflicts within East African community, and whenever there is a conflict, you will always see influx of refugees. Some of these refugees will not just go to the neighboring Uganda and Rwanda. Some of them will come over to Kenya.
Clashes in DRC between M23 rebels and the army and its allies have left hospitals overwhelmed by casualties and bodies on the streets. According to the UN, essential services have been unavailable since the offensive began, with electricity, water and internet cut. On Wednesday, M23 rebels tightened their grip on Goma city, with local media reporting that while fighting appears to have eased in most parts of Goma, sporadic gunfire continued in northern areas. This was as hundreds of Romanian mercenaries hired to fight for Congo entered Rwanda under the strict supervision of Rwanda security forces. With President William Ruto expected to convene crisis talks aimed at ending the rebels' assault, analysts say the onus is on the DRC government to set the tone for an amicable solution to the crisis.
Thank you, Joseph Akungu. We now look at business, where the private sector has been encouraged to increase investments in the artificial intelligence space to tap its economic potential. Information Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo says Kenya will leverage on the private sector equity to develop AI infrastructure in a bid to cement Kenya's position as a regional digital hub.
The market for artificial intelligence grew beyond $184 billion in 2024. The US is injecting a further $500 billion in private sector equity to create infrastructure for artificial intelligence to catalyze growth in the sector. The Kenyan private sector has been encouraged to increase investments into the AI space to tap into the global expansion and potential. Information Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo says the government will tap into the private sector equity to develop an AI infrastructure to assist local digital startups enhance their capabilities and compete globally.
Africa has been marginalized in global AI discussions, often viewed as a passive consumer rather than an active contributor. This narrative must change. We must invest in our own AI capabilities, enabling us to develop solutions tailored to our unique context and challenges.
Everything we are doing on AI in Kenya is about partnership and collaboration. AI presents similar challenges to governments and societies around the world, and by working together we can also maximize the opportunities that it can bring.
Plans are also underway to start training civil servants on artificial intelligence as part of digitizing government services.
Today we have the opportunity to engage in meaningful dialogue exchange ideas, and challenge one another as we explore AI's potential to become a powerful tool for socio-economic and political transformation.
Kenya will leverage on the African Union AI Charter to enhance cybersecurity and responsible online use to protect online consumers from exploitation.
We remain steadfast in championing continental cooperation in an inclusive and collaborative manner, ensuring that AI serves the public good, it amplifies our shared values, and benefits all of humanity.
Let us seize this opportunity to shape the future of AI in a way that reflects our values, protects our rights, and unlocks the vast potential of our continent.
A look at sports now, where the Confederation of African Football Executive Committee has set new dates for the 2024 Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship. The 2024 CHAN, to be co-hosted by Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, will kick off from the 2nd to the 30th of August this year.
The Africa Nations Championship was scheduled to take place from 1st to 20th of February this year, but CAF postponed it to the 2nd to 30th of August to ensure infrastructure facilities were in requisite standards to co-host the championship in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. The draw was nevertheless conducted at the KICC in Nairobi, where Kenya was placed in Group A with 2-time champions Morocco, Angola, DR Congo and Zambia. The CAF Executive Committee, chaired by the President Dr. Patrice Motsepe, also approved the match calendar for the 2025 African Cup of Nations, which is scheduled to take place from 21st of December to 18th of January 2026 in 6 cities in Morocco, namely Rabat, Casablanca, Agadir, Marrakesh, Fez and Tajia. The 2025 CAF Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers format has also been revised from 12 to 16 participating teams.
And athletes have been called upon to break the silence and fight for their rights as they pursue their dreams during the National Olympics Committee of Kenya 2-day gender conference that concluded yesterday in Nairobi.
Gender conference has seen different sportsmen and women who made it into their career raise concerns about alarming issues that affect them so that they can help others find a common ground to solve them.
Even as an athlete, what is it that you want? Do you want to have many world records? Do you want to win the Olympics? Do you want to, develop sports in communities? What is that? Articulate that, right? And then it's a point of then how do you, what's the best place of putting it there?
Today's dialogue was led by 2-time Boston Marathon champion Ellen Obiri, who narrated how they persevered in their chase for glory, adding that they should be supported in every step, regardless of the result.
Sometimes it's a challenge to wake up in the morning like 5, uko kwa barabara, kuna fumbi, unakaa ile maisha tunasema si yako. But it's good, kukaa ile maisha si yako right now, at the end of your career. Enjoy, you will go along the world.
Obiri was also concerned about the rising cases of gender-based violence being witnessed in the sports and called for the athletes' protection.
Life of sports, it's all about business. Because if not so business, we could not be where we are today. So it's all about business, and you see like which company it has the best offer for you.
And as the conference came to an end today, federation representatives were mandated to offer various life skills to their members to empower them.
We've come to the end of the news this morning. Thank you so much for your time. Good Morning Kenya still continues, so stay with us if you can. My colleague Mike Migwi will be up next with a discussion on the youth and governance processes. My name is Marie Yambo.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. This is Entertainment Thursday, but before we get into the entertainment part, we look at matters youth and governance processes. But before we get into that, let me just go through what is making headlines in our local dailies. Let me start with the Standard. Ruto's DRC acid test, that is what is splashed on the front page of the Standard newspaper. They are saying here, crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo is simmering, with doomsayers predicting war in the region that will pose a stern leadership test. President William Ruto yesterday was to chair a meeting of the key players that was met with murmurs over his approach. The next few days will be critical to restoring peace in the mineral-rich country and region. That story is told on page 4, 5, 6 and 7 of the Standard newspaper. Uhuru, Trump aid policy, a wake-up call. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta has chided African countries for crying foul over withheld funding, saying had they prioritized their budgets, they would not be shocked when the US refuses to fund some of Africa's basic needs such as healthcare, noting it's America's right to say no. That story is told on page 9 of the Standard newspaper. Governors reject a new revenue formula. County bosses say the revised calculation will see majority of the devolved units lose money. Read that story on page 3 of the Standard newspaper. D-Day for police in Baby Pendo case. That story is told on page 10. Let us look at what is making headlines on the Star newspaper. Ruto planning to dismiss 15 PSs in major shuffle. Hiring process overshadowed by talk of applicants aged above 60. That story is told on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. There's a photo here splashed on the front page. Sorry State of Nairobi's sewer drainage system. This is after the rain that pounded the city a few days ago that brought about the evidence of how or the state of the sewer system within the city. Kindiki hits back at Gachagua over Ruto term remark. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki yesterday hit back at his predecessor regarding Gachagua over the latter's campaign that President William Ruto would only serve a single term. He dismissed Gachagua's call as wishful thinking that will never see the light of day. Read that story on page 6 of the Star newspaper. Moving on to Daily Nation. Scandal of quote-unquote doctored census data. That is what is splashed on the front page of the Daily Nation. Population row. For the past 5 years, Kenya has been making financial and policy decisions for 3 countries, Garissa, Mandera and Wajir, based on false data. The High Court has now cancelled the 2019 Kenya National Bureau of Statistics census results for 3 northeastern counties, citing significant irregularities, and ordered a recount within a year, well ahead of the 2027 poll. And that story, you can read it on page 7 of of the Daily Nation. Tshisekedi snubs Ruto meeting for SADC forum. Congolese President Tshisekedi snubbed a meeting convened by President William Ruto to discuss a security crisis in his country, but confirmed attendance of a separate meeting convened by South African countries, putting into doubt his commitment to the East African Community Bloc. You can read that story on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. Well, that is what we have on our local dailies now, and I want us to dive into what we have prepared for today. And already I'm joined by Clive Opao, who is a governance expert. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
And Tabitha Ogutu, who is a governance and development expert. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Unaendeleaje?
Salama. Labda wewe.
Mimi niko salama, nimekuja kazi sasa tuongee maneno ya youth and governance processes. But before we even get into that, I want to get a feel, just in a minute, a feel of your sentiments regarding these headlines. Ruto planning to dismiss 15 PSs in major shuffle, the scandal of quote-unquote doctored census data, and Ruto's DRC acid test. Let me start with you, Clive.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Karibu sana.
Yeah, we can see, I think the different dailies have addressed different topics, but my heart first, I'd like to put out my heart out there to the people of DRC Congo, and especially the people in Goma who are currently undergoing a security issue, a major security issue in their country. And you know, my commiserations, and you know, I'd just like to tell them that the people of Kenya really sympathize with them during this difficult period, and we hope that you're going to find a speedy conclusion or a speedy solution to the security issue. So I think that is my my headline, my headline this morning, because we have seen President Ruto struggling here in Kenya. We have seen President Ruto facing backlash from the youth in Kenya. We've seen President Ruto having to form a broad-based government because of the challenges that he's having, you know, governing the country. But we've seen US presidents in the past who have struggled locally but made important missions abroad and succeeded abroad, and they've been able to benefit from re-election. So I think this, like the papers are saying, this is an acid test for the president. I think this is going to be an additional task for him, considering we have over 600 troops in Haiti. And looking at the president, he's been trying, at least for the first few months in his presidency, he's been trying to fashion himself as this African, you know, trans-African leader, you know, statesman, and we've seen him trying to go into issues of other countries, trying to address them. So I think if he's able to succeed in his international forays, if he's able to succeed in the things that he's trying to do abroad, maybe it can pay some dividends for him locally.
Okay, Tabitha, your sentiments?
Also, I would like to weigh in and, you know, really empathize and sympathize with the people affected with the wars in Goma. And I hope and pray also that they reach a consensus and we have a ceasefire to this. On Ruto, our president also, you know, trying to play a critical role in making sure that we have a united East African community bloc. I think is so welcome, and I think us as Kenyans, all we can do is support this particular initiative. But then we also need to put our house in order so that when we speak in the international issues and other country issues, that we are also seen to be, you know, a country that values security, its internal security as well. You know, looked into also our issues. Of course, Kenya has not been very good in terms of, you know, internal security of late. We have abductions happening. We in the last week we have seen 2 activists killed, you know, mysteriously and things like this. So I think these are things that some countries look at, and they're saying that if as a country we cannot provide internal security for our citizens, then what gives us the right to, you know, go and speak on issues that relates to other countries? But I have to acknowledge the position of the president. He is the ESC chairperson, and therefore he's doing his work, and we hope that it bears fruit. I've seen a very interesting headline here about Ruto's DRC test. I think that one we've mentioned. But the issue on Ruto's planning to dismiss 15 PSS in major shuffle. Again, as a very concerned Kenyans, I think the president should consider highly also the young people when he is appointing and giving positions to the PSS. And the ones being reshuffled, they should be reshuffled on the basis of non-delivery, like they were not able to deliver on their duties, and therefore is bringing in people who will be able to make sure that their transformative agenda that they keep saying about the Kenya Kwanza government is pushed forward, and we see that the government is working for us. So the basis for reshuffling should be so non-political, bring technocrats, not sycophants, and people who are just there to push their own agenda vis-a-vis the issues of Kenya. So I think that is a very critical area for us Kenyans, and women and youth, I think, should be given, they should be given a position in the PSS reshuffle.
Okay, let's actually get into it, because this headline is interesting because it marries with whatever we are talking about, youth and involvement in governance process. And Clive, how do you say, unaweza sema aje regarding youth involvement in governance processes up until last year? How can you rate involvement in those processes, especially when it comes to elections and all that?
Yeah, I think the situation in Kenya right now can best be described by the Irish poet in 1919, William Butler, who said that, like in Kenya right now, I feel like we're just turning and turning in a widening gyre. I feel like we're in this situation where, the center cannot hold. We're in this situation where, like the poet said, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. And the president is in a situation where he needs to do a balancing act. And as much as he wants to appoint, say, 15 PSS, he's looking at regional balancing, I think, for him right now. I think he's for a long time shown us that he doesn't consider the youth an important aspect of his governance, in his government, for example. Because during the election, of course, his major running call was the hustlers. I know the hustlers are majorly young people, but if you look at the cabinet appointments that he did the first time, the reshuffles that have been coming up, and then even the latest one where we had 3 PSS from the three CSS from Mount Kenya region. So I feel like the youth, we have really been sidelined. And even last year during the June 25th protest, when we really championed for youth involvement in governance, we only got 1 CS in the Ministry of Water. So we are saying, like as young people, yes, we realize that the older people in government might think the youth are inexperienced or the youth do not want to be involved. But we have seen lately what the power of the young people, even in terms of, calling them to account, in terms of, sending emails. Even to the latest one is the King of Netherlands, who is supposed to come in Kenya in March. The government of Netherlands has received over 10,000 emails from young Kenyans who are saying, this is the situation in Kenya, just to try and counter what the government is putting out there in terms of what is saying is being achieved, but painting the real situation on the ground. So I think there's been an increased involvement of the young people in governance. The only thing that you're lacking right now is appointments in leadership, and most of these things are done politically. And it's very hard for a young person to be appointed, for example, even in these 15 positions, if you're not politically aligned. Believe me, these positions are not going to be appointed or assigned purely based on merit. There's going to be political inclinations to it. Like I've seen in the shortlist some people who are retirees. I remember last year the president said his government is not going to accept retirees to come and serve in public office. But I've seen so many shortlisted candidates who are over 60 years. So my take, and I know this is going to be judged in time when the final list comes out. You're going to see political alignment in these appointments. You're going to see young people, if they're going to be any, people who are, say, aligned to what the government is doing, and people who have, like, let's say, political sway from the regions they come from.
Now, let me ask you, Tabitha.
Yes.
We are talking matters involvement in governance processes, and now that we have seen such a headline, what is the qualifying factor for a youth? Is just being a youth the only thing you have so that you can be included in, let's say, in such an opportunity?
You've just reminded me, a friend of mine, Professor George Outa, was telling me the other day that having the connotation of a youth sometimes is a bit misleading, because there is this entitlement that comes with it, that because I'm a youth, I'm below 35 years, then I should be considered at that level. It's very true. But then if my colleague in studio today is arguing on the basis that these appointments are going to be given based on the political inclination, is very true, and that's the reality. So then it's a clarion call also for the young people now to understand that, you know, politics will not favor you because you're a young person or the political appointment. So now, what is your identification with political parties? You know, you cannot be partyless, and when parties are allocating positions to the people who are in those parties, because loyalty is part of these appointments, you know. You can only be loyal when we have seen that you're serving the agenda of the government, because at the end of the day, you'll not want to give somebody an appointment and then they will go there and serve interest that does not align with your agenda as a government. So the young people need to join parties or form parties of their own. Those parties, time immemorial, they are vehicles to power. They are the bargaining, you know, vehicles. They, you know, they're used to, you know, bargain for these things. So if parties is what is going to make us as young people, you know, get this slot, like me, I identify with ODM party. I believe this is a party that has a democratic, you know, ability to even bring more people on board. And people or other youths will dismiss it and say, you know, me, I don't want to be involved in politics. And when positions are being allocated, they're the first people to bash the government here and there. So we have to do what needs to be done. We have to get into these parties. We have to learn through the processes. And another thing I would want to mention is the bit of, you know, accepting to be nurtured. You cannot wake up today and want to be a PS the next day. There has to be track record of what you've been doing as a young person, because these are not positions that are just given on silver platter. So then the young people need to start early. You need to, you know, build a track record. You need to start doing something that when now brought to the table will not also be questioned, because you cannot dismiss a 60-year-old with experience. Experience is what we need. So I think when I say that, then there are youths who are in these parties. They have been nurtured. They have been doing things that are very visible. Then they need to be considered if the party inclination is something that is playing part.
Opao, yes. Tabitha has said something about being nurtured. And
Lupao.
Okay. Yeah. Is it, do we have enough space, or have the leaders provided that chance that the youth need to be nurtured? Are the youth ready to be nurtured, or they just want to get into it directly so that they can say we are already in?
I think the youth want to be nurtured, in my opinion, and the youth have always been ready to be nurtured. If you look at the history of political parties in Kenya, the youth have been one of the strongest arms, one of the strongest wings of any political formation in Kenya. So the young people are always involved. But then when it comes to the bargaining table, when it comes to that handing out that election ticket, you'll realize the youth is now being sidelined and pushed over to the end of the table.
What goes wrong?
So, I mean, money is a big factor in terms of the competition between the experienced people or the older people and the young people. Because, for example, when it comes to political appointments, what happens behind the scenes is not what is talked about. Yes, I know there's a factor of being nurtured, there's a factor of experience, but there's also a factor of, you know, what can you do for me? You know, what can you bring for me that this other person cannot do? And that is the reality of any Kenyan appointment, or even sometimes in some of these job advertisements. So I feel like, yes, the young people in Kenya, they want to get into these positions, and they want to demonstrate that they can do that, and they can do these jobs. And we have seen instances where some very low, for example, jobs that are being advertised and they're asking for 10 years of experience. You know, you're asking for 10 years of experience, and it means you're mostly targeting people above 35 years for that matter. But when you look at the most of the applicants are mostly young people. So why don't you give an opportunity to a young person so that they can also have that platform to do what my panelist is saying, you know, a track record of things that I've done. And I think it's something that is being done in private sector. These days, in most of these companies in private sector, they have they have a program where they even recruit young people from campus, you know. They recruit young people and they do on-job training for you. So that is the period where they train you on how they want you to do the job. But that has really been lacking in public service. There's been talk about the government, you know, having interns and even paying them, but it has been really difficult for such programs to benefit a majority of the young people because of, you know, how squeezed the opportunity is.
Tabitha, there's something about meritocracy and party affiliation. Which comes over the other?
Thank you for that question.
Especially when it comes to appointments and getting into governance of a country.
Meritocracy should be a key consideration because you cannot deliver on what you have no experience over, you have no credentials over. And I think that goes back to the question of what is the value of education? Because if the people whom have gone to school and studied for these things are not being given these jobs, and people who have not even, don't have credentials, they're being given jobs over them. So I would say that meritocracy and, you know, being qualified for the job should be a key consideration. That is why I said even in the allocation of these 15 PSS positions, technocrats should be considered as a high factor, you know. These people, are they able to deliver on these key dockets? But then, you know, I like to be very realistic that at the end of the day, you have to have some alignment of sort, because how would you understand what you're supposed to do as a PS under Kenya Kwanza government? Kenya Kwanza had pillars of why they formed this government. So that means you have to understand, you have to be aligned with these particular key pillars. If Azimio was in government, then you'll have to understand what Azimio stood for in terms of government formations. So then you have to be aligned, you have to be, you know, awake to the facts and why the government was formed. And you can be very good in delivery as a technocrat, but then also political goodwill and party support is a very key factor. You cannot give a job to somebody whom you'll get into your government and they bring disunity and they're not able to deliver for the government. So I think it's a very key factor, and they're very intertwined. So let them have the aspect of party involvement and party goodwill, but then let them people who have, you know, merit. They're being given jobs on merit, not just sycophants. So we are really also very tired of these position allocations, and you see very key senior government officials and CSS and PSS always just wanting to talk about politics rather than their jobs. So these are things that I think if meritocracy will supersede more of political inclination as well, will solve. So we need to really see how we give the balance so that we have service delivery at the end of the day. And this is what this government needs, by the way. We need to speak about what this government needs to really do in these 2 or so years to make sure that they're not just appointing people, but they're appointing people who will make sure that the agenda is served and Kenyans experience service delivery at the end of the day.
All right, we are going to talk about the oversight role that the people have taken, but we are going to do that after this short break. Don't go too far. This is Good Morning Kenya. Back, you're watching Good Morning Kenya. This is Entertainment Thursday, and the segment on air is youth and governance, and we are looking at youth and governance processes. And I'm having this conversation with Clive Opao, who is a governance expert, and Tabitha Ogutu, who is also a governance and development expert. And before we went on air, there's something I wanted us to delve into, because the youth have become very vocal online. And my question to you, let me start with you, Opao. What do you think of the oversight role that it seems they have taken over?
I think I would like to, you know, give it up to the young people in this country, because we've really come out guns blazing. I think whatever, you know, resurrected the young people in June last year has lived on up to this point, because we've seen the Kenyan youth have now become like a lion waiting to pounce on the available, government opportunity.
Yes.
That is, whenever something is not going on right, the young people are ready to talk about it, they're ready to post about it, they're ready to even make comical, videos about it and just communicate in a way that all of them can understand. And I think, like you said, opposition has become clipped in this country. And I think it's only a matter of time, because we are expecting the AUC elections coming up in February this year. And many pundits are saying that whatever the outcome of that election will be, we are going to see a new political wave in Kenya. Because if Raila goes to the AUC, then it means he's left up, a big space for the Kenyan opposition. I remember, in the months leading up to the election, 2022, the president kept on promising about the official opposition, the office of the official opposition, leader, which up to now has not been implemented. So we are struggling as a country to find a way of holding government to account. And as it is now, that role has been left to the young people and the civil society. And the challenge with that is that there's a challenge of the NIS. There's a challenge of abductions. There's a challenge that young people, whenever they speak out, whenever they say things, they criticize the government agencies are now coming after us. The government agencies led by KRA, led by NIS, they're tapping into our phones, they're tapping into our communications, and they're looking for us, and they're abducting us, and they're charging us with computer misuse. But at the end of the day, you find some of these cases being dismissed in court. So it is quite tough for a young person right now to be, to be formal opposition. But I think we are going in the right direction. And social media tools have really helped us in terms of even informing other young people across the country to join this kind of crusade, because of how we communicate, how we reach out to the young people has become easier. So whenever you post something online, millions of people are looking at it, and more people are gaining the energy to talk about whatever is not happening right in government.
Yes. What do you think? Are we going to see more civic education online? Because even if we are talking about being involved in those governance processes, civic education has a role to play in all this.
Oh, yes.
So are we going to see it more, especially now you're approaching the 2027 elections?
Absolutely, yes. And let me just go back to this 15 PSs and the appointments the government has been doing of late. The president should also understand that we are the majority voters at the end of the day. So we are a very ripe voting basket. If it's allocation of positions for the sake of, garnering support in regions, it will work for him if he will bring more people who are qualified, not just for the sake of age. I keep repeating that you should not be given a position and appointment because you're a woman or because you are just a youth. You're a youth who can, deliver on these particular jobs. And we have, I will tell you, we don't have shortage of that. We have very experienced young people, who are doing incredibly. Even this docket of ICT CS,
yes,
the young people who are credibly, qualified in those particular, CS allocation positions. I'm telling you for the truth. So then we do not have shortage of that. So I would think that the president, if really you really want to get support for 2027, the young people still, they are the majority voters, and we are really looking at you and saying that we have voiced up our complaints, and we really not against the president, the individual.
Are the youth ready to take up to register as voters? Because
yes,
it has been said that they do not really show up when it comes to voting and all that. Henceforth, are we going to see a change?
But then, absolutely, yes. I would want to tell you that there has not been a time like this when the youth are very passionate about wanting their vote to count at the ballot, by changing the governance structures of this country, by taking leaders, including our MCAs and MPs, whom have become just puppets, and we call them ghost members of parliament in the villages, to go home. The youth want to bring change, not just at the presidency, like it's assumed, but from, the bottom levels, of leadership, from the MC and whatnot. So it's a very big conversation that should not be ignored, that the issue around civic engagement and civic education that you asked is something that the youth, you have seen already, they're doing it by themselves. And do not undermine the value of peer-to-peer influence. It's a massive one. And that is why you saw during the June 25th protest and the culminations of the other protests to that, they were able to influence themselves. We were able to influence ourselves as young people from different sectors, different parts of the country, and select a specific day through social media. The power of the new media is not something that somebody will sit down and just say it's digital wankers. No, these wankers who are young people, they have the power to influence themselves, even to go and take those voter registrations. And I am telling you, this is a space to be watched, and it's something to be noted. It should not be just be assumed as a mere conversation.
Clive, yes, she has talked about the demographic of the youth being the majority, but the question is, can you turn that demographic advantage into something tangible when it comes to choosing the leaders that qualify for those positions, or the leaders that you want?
Absolutely.
Or even getting into those positions?
I mean, I think the 2027 election is going to be very different compared to the previous elections in Kenya, because in 2022, 8 million Kenyans did not vote, and a majority of this number are mostly young people. If you look at the country right now, even as we speak, we're currently mobilizing, and we're in the process of forming a task force, a national task force for the youth, to assemble, to organize and to finance youthful candidates for the next election. And we're encouraging every young people across the country who is ambitious and who believes that they can succeed in the area where they're going to vie as a representative to join us and to get in touch with us. Why am I saying this? Because there's an awakening. And even our parents have realized that the young people have now risen up to the occasion. My own parents, my own father, when I was in the last election, I can assure you, there was a position of a by-election that was created in my county when the Speaker for the Senate, for the National Assembly, His Excellency Moses Wetangula was appointed in the National Assembly. So there's a by-election in Bungoma County. And I went to my dad and I told him, I can see an opportunity. I can see an opportunity for a young person, because an old person has left the table. It is now an opportunity for a young person to get in this seat. You can imagine it's just, straight after the August elections. And when I went home, the first thing that my dad told me was, he asked me, do you have a wife? Do you have a child? He asked me, do you have a house? So he hit me with these questions, and of course my answers were no. But then I asked myself, really, as a country, are we still in those old centuries where we believe that change can only be brought by people who are married? Change can only be brought by people who have kids.
But
or
there's
change.
also a sense of responsibility when it comes
I know there's
to
a sense of responsibility,
taking care of a family.
But how many of these people who are elected, who have families, who have houses, who have wives, even 3 wives, but still go into parliament and make wrong decisions that are affecting the country for 30 years? How many of these older people, older generation, who are married, who have kids and all these things that society or culture has made us to believe, cannot be able to deliver for the people? But recently I went back home again. And I told my dad, I have now lowered my ambitions. I'm now looking at the parliamentary seat for Tongaren constituency. And I could see a change in tone in terms of what my dad told me. My dad is now getting a sense of young people have now risen to the occasion. And I think this gives credit to the June 25th protest that we had last year.
Yes.
So I can genuinely see that. Can you imagine if older generation, the older parents have already realized that young people can bring change? What about for the young people? What about the youth themselves, who are the change makers themselves? We believe in ourselves. Yes. And don't get me wrong, in 2027, we're going to have a huge majority of young people voting. And I would like to challenge the Electoral Commission, because I think one challenge for the youth voting is, the voting centers. We have majority of the youthful voters are mostly, let's say, in campus. There's a huge chunk who are in universities. And I'd like us to have a formula or a session, just an organization where people can vote from where they are. We don't have to travel up country to vote. Let people be able to vote from where they are. Let it be easier. I know we're not at that level where we can have electric voting yet, but if young people can vote even from their own campuses, so that you don't feel like you have to travel up country to go and vote. Because some of us, you know, people who are registered as voters in their home counties, but when it comes to the election period, they feel like going up country is too far, so they stay, you know.
So there's that aspect of
so there's that aspect of, you know, where are you voting? So if you're able to change or, you know, find a formula of voting centers so that we can make it easier for the young people to be reached. And we've seen even in the United States, there's early voting. There's early voting in the United States. People vote weeks before the main election day. And that extended period of voting allows more people to get involved. And we've seen it even in the protest last year. I think you could see the first few protests were not very populated. There are not very many people. But when people started saying, kumbe watu wanaenda, people are going to town, people are going to... So I think if we have a way of, say, even having 2 days of voting, so that you don't limit everything in one day, is going to bring some change for the youth.
There's something he has mentioned, based on the anecdotes he has given us. Are we going to see the youth changing the perception of the older generation in terms of the way they are going to vote? Like, are they going to change their perception based on merit of the person who is asking for a seat, or is just going to be euphoric as we have always been used to?
Yes, first of all, let me tell you. You see, the same way the youth mobilized themselves and went to the strikes and the Maandamanos last year, the June 25th, and the culmination of the other ones before that. That is the same way they are going to mobilize themselves to go and vote. So that is not a question. And we would like to ask the government that, please, when we lose our IDs or we are coming to apply for these IDs, don't make it difficult. Reduce the time for application, because it's becoming also a very big challenge. And they're going to change the narrative, because we are more concerned about, at the end of the day, what, or the individual, what can they bring different when they're in that office. It's not like what we have been seeing over time, that the politics of tribe, the politics of psychopathy is what has made us come to the point where we have leaders who are very incapable. Like me, I have a member of parliament who I've never seen any time he is serving his second term ever speaking about the issues affecting the people of Game, where I come from. And it's so unbecoming. And when you come to the ground, it's not like he's silent in parliament. When you come to the ground, he's performing. There is nothing he's doing for us in Game. And so in 2027, particularly, I want to mobilize all the young people and even influence the old, so that we go and vote for leaders who can help us transform, starting from my MCA up to my member of parliament, going up. So for me, it's not about, at the end of the day, psychopathy or whatnot. It's about what is it that the individual will bring when they're in that office. And it has to come from a point of you know, when you go to the villages, unasikianga, nikipewa nitafanya, nikipatiwa nitafanya nini. No. There has to be a track record to this individual that is very visible. And so I think in that outlook, personally, I'm very interested. And even the president, we are going to, vote for him or not based on what he'll be able to do, based on the agenda that he put in place and the manifestos that Kenya Kwanza as a government gave us. And so these are the basis for what, as you'll say, not personal attacks and these things. I also see that also as a young person, sometimes I want to differ with. It's based on what you're able to do, the deliverable. So for me, this is going to count very majorly in the upcoming elections.
What do you see? Because if you talk about party politics, sometimes when it comes to elections, you see, if you do not belong to a certain political party in a certain area, you will not be elected.
Yes.
So, but those within that political party, they are elected, like it's called a suit.
Yeah.
How are you going to influence that as youth now that you want to get into these leadership positions, or even change leadership in the areas that you come in?
I'll give you an example from where I come from, Tongaren constituency. Which was split from the larger Kimilili constituency. Our current MP is a member of Ford Kenya party, and he was previously in UDA, but when UDA and Ford Kenya came together in the previous election, he decided to defect to Ford Kenya so that he can align with the region. So, and then the former member of parliament is the Secretary General of DAP, And DAP is also, a pro-Western or a, native Western kind of political party, though I'm sure it wants to become a national party. So if I do my calculations right, I'm looking at 2027. There's no way I'm going to get, there's a possibility, but there's a slim chance of getting a Ford Kenya ticket because the current holder who wants to vie for election comes from that party. DAP party, which is the second, popular party in the region, already has a candidate who is even the Secretary General of the party. So there's no way they can deny the Secretary General of the party the ticket and give to a young person who's probably vying for the first time. And I'm now looking at the current realignments in politics. Of course, we have our Inject party, led by Morera Kebaso, which is one of the latest parties to be formed in Kenya. And I'm also looking at the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who is also in the process of forming his own party, and I believe it's going to have a national outlook. So I think it's up to the young person to look at the mathematics. Lazima upige hesabu. Lazima uangalie, who are you vying against? Who are you competing against? What are the chances of you getting a ticket in that party? Yes, you can be loyal to a party, but you can be loyal to a party for 10 years before you get a chance. The current senator for Bungoma has been a personal assistant to the Speaker of the National Assembly for many years before he got a chance to be elected as a senator through the goodwill of the party leader. But of course, everybody has their own journey. Some people vie the first time they get elected. Some people have to vie a number of times before they get elected. But for me, I know that I'm coming from a rural county. I'm coming from a rural constituency. It's upon me to find a way of reaching out to the young people, because I know the women in my constituency, of course, they're mostly the majority of voters. But I believe that even the older generation are now endearing to the young people.
Now, let me ask this. And I'll start with you, Tabitha. In matters governance, what do you think has been the biggest hindrance for youth to be involved in matters governance?
First of all, before I answer that question, a few minutes earlier you'd asked about, and you mentioned about the president. There was a conversation in the BBI tax, not BBI rather, but the tax force that was formed after the Azimio Maandamano last year, yes? And one of the key provisions was around the office of the opposition leader. Is something I totally disagree with 100%. You see, Baba has been seen as an opposition leader for many years. Nobody appointed Baba an opposition leader. So it's not a position being given. So we can have as many opposition leaders, because even the Gen Zs right now are opposition leaders. And that is the reason why you cannot keep asking now that Baba has gone to AU will be the opposition leader. Nobody appointed Baba opposition leader. Nobody appointed Baba kingpin in the Luo Nyanza, where he has a very great support, in terms of community. So opposition should be left at such, because this is not an office that needs an occupant. This is a space that should just be left. Anyone who wants to bring the government and keep it on its toe, that is an opposition person. And so that is not something I think as a person I will welcome. Let the opposition just be opposition as it has been. It does not need an office or an occupant. The processes on governance and the limitation to youth participations, one of them is the issue of party and party involvement in the processes of giving appointments, and even we call them certificates of nominations, and some of the requirements sometimes. And I would sympathize with the youth in the parties where you see that a youth has been so popular, they have been so loyal, they have been in the party, and in all these parties you see this, because youth, we have the energy, passion and zeal to always push for some of these agendas. But at the end of the day, you'll find that when it comes to the elections, some of them or many of them are not being considered. And this is something I think all parties honestly should look up, including my own party, ODM. And I think we really are trying to strengthen that as a very democratic party, of course, which I will also ask that many youth should also see if they could join, But then they need to look at the youth not are just puppets and noise makers for them and whatnot. These are young people whom, if well given opportunity, and like they say that their argument is always that youths want things, they're called oven success, where you just put something there and then after 2 minutes then you want
immediate
it.
Success.
It's already. They should have processes of mentoring and nurturing youth leadership from a very tender age, and then we agree that when these people have gained the experience and you see they're incredibly even having, the youths are very popular even on the ground, you know, people should be not denied the opportunity to you know, get this position. So number one is the party issue. Number two is the issue around money. Money is such a big issue in Kenya. You know, me, when you come to see where I come from, I am known for so many development projects I do. And I started them when I was in campus because I realized at the end of the day, there are problems around me that if I was to wait for the government or my member of parliament to come and address, they might go unaddressed. And so in my small ways, how can I mobilize resources? How can I bring stakeholders on board to make sure that, for example, agricultural value chains and systems around my place and my constituencies, you know, are addressed? And so you'll realize that sometimes if you do not have the goodwill also maybe of having these people who can support you in these initiatives, when you come to the community as a young person and you want to tell an old mama that, you know, me, our friend Clive here, that I want to become the member of parliament for Tangaren, where Yesu wa Tongaren anatoka huko. And you do not.
Actually, my voter, my big supporter.
In Nyanza, we'll ask you, do you have majan? You know, so you say, hey, this one does not have majan. So because you don't get majan, like they say it, then they will not give you. They will not give you. So the conversation around tokenism in voting and the patterns is such a big issue and a limitation to the young people who wants to join politics and they have no money. Yes. So, but you see, if the parties will support the young people who are very promising. And have the capabilities, there will be reduction in this because you realize, like you are asking him, that sometimes you go and vote in suit. We call it suit, 6 piece or whatever the pieces. And if you could just support young people in this particular, so that also in the process you just give them certificates, especially if they merit it. It will also increase the numbers of the youth in the democratic processes and even actively voting and even appointments.
All right. Nataka tumaliza na hii. Your clarion call to the youth.
Yeah, I mean, 2027 is very near, in my opinion. And if young people want to take up government in the next election, we need to start now. I know that there are very many challenges. Like we've said, election financing is a big challenge for young people. But at the same time, if we plan early, if we organize early, if we assemble early, if we bring us together early, because I'm looking at examples like, 2005, when ODM was being formed. Nobody knew that ODM is going to be around for more than close to 20 years now. And it was a moment of saying, let's begin. It was a moment of saying, let's start. It was a moment of believing in yourselves and coming together. And I look at a situation where if young people start mobilizing now, we're going to form the next ODM party that is going to be around and rule Kenya for the next 20 years, or even 100 years and 50 years. So I'd like to encourage young people across the country to mobilize, to come together. Let us get in touch. Let us identify ourselves from the different regions that we come from. Not in terms of our affiliation to political parties, but our youthfulness. Let us identify as people who want to bring change in the country. Let us identify as people who want to vie in the next election, and we come together and just plan on how we're going to win this election. And I'm very sure we're going to see victory come 2027.
Clive, there is nothing like forming the next ODM party. There is nothing wrong with the ODM party that exists. So I will just add that the young people, ODM party is the only party for the youth, and there is nothing good with being partyless. But then, this is my clarion call. Let us not kill our young people. Let us not abduct them. Let us allow positive criticism. Let us allow alternative voices of governance. And the young people should not tire to hold the government and their leaders accountable, because some of these leaders, we actively participated in voting for them. As I finish, this is my clarion call to the Kenyan president, that you have such a rich manifesto and agenda in terms of the Kenya Kwanza transformative agenda. We need to really see the people you elect get to work and deliver on that, Mr. President. You need to create employment, and you need to look at areas, especially agricultural area. This is an area, if well harnessed and invested in, we'll be having cottage industries that will result to bigger industries in our counties that will create employment. The issue on the digital upscaling, and by the way, is something that I've seen the government, we also need to give credit where it's due. The government is really trying to create digital jobs, and you're seeing the initiative through Konza and the Jitume programs in all the counties, trying to get every ward to have a hub where youths can get online jobs. So we want to see intensification and working of these hubs. But then at the end of the day, it is going to be the question of what did we do when we had the opportunity as a government to make Kenya better. We need a better Kenya, and we need to build it together, not to tear it down. So that is my part in short for today.
Asante sana.
Just to remind Tabla that there's no problem with forming another ODM party.
No, ODM is
Coming
fine.
from a background of computer science, I believe in innovation, I believe in new ideas.
That is a whole different conversation that we are going to have
coming
as
up
we
with
progress
new ways of doing things, and I believe it's good for the country.
time. But thank you so much for making time to come here on Good Morning Kenya and participate in matters that touch on the youth, and because they're supposed to be part of social, political, economic platform in the decision-making processes. This is where we end this conversation, and thank you to Clive Opao, who is a governance expert, and also Tabitha Ogutu, who is a governance and development expert, for joining us here on Good Morning Kenya. This conversation is where we put a full stop. DJ, what do you have in store?
Great music always.
Take it away.
Naleta action.
Naleta action. Looking for my name, Naitwa Jackson. Yeah. Some good old times right there. This is Entertainment Thursday right here on Good Morning Kenya. We are done with our political segment. We are now all about ensuring that you get to be entertained. You need to find your dancing shoes wherever they are. Find them, put them on. The DJ will be ensuring that we get to have a good time this Thursday morning. The best way to just, kick off that chilliness that is in the air, that cold and all that. We're here to ensure that you keep warm for sure. And we get to start off with our first interview on Entertainment Thursday, and we have an artist with us. He's a singer, he's a songwriter. He goes by the name Volvo. Volvo.
Yes.
What's up?
What's up? How are you doing?
I'm good, you're well?
I'm okay.
Umejita Volvo, ni Volvo ile ya gari ama ni Volvo ipi?
Ni Volvo ya gari, but mwisho iko na H. That's the only
H.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite car, your dream car?
Of course, that's my dream car, my favorite car. I just really love the car. That's why nilikam up na Volvo. But hii Volvo nilitoa kwa, we have Kevo, so tunasema Voke. Then for me, my name is Elvis, so I did it Volvo.
Okay, yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Haya, kwa wale wanakuona for the very first time, waelezee Volvo ni nani, anafanya muziki wa aina gani?
So Volvo ni msanii, anafanya gospel music na anatokea Vihiga, na ni msanii anapenda God sana. So me music nilianza back in 2020. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you started your music in 2020.
Yeah.
Nini ilifanya sasa uamue, okay, now I'm gonna get into this seriously?
Like you see me, I had that passion in music. Nili used kupenda music sana toka nikiwa mdogo, so I used to master hizo songs. I could master songs za wase. Then nika come to realize I can do songwriting. So nika start kuandika songs zangu. So in 2020 that's when I got a chance kuingia studio na nika record my first song.
Yeah, what was the song about?
The song was about Jesus blood. Yeah, it's called Painkiller. So Painkiller just describe how the Jesus blood how it manifests and how it works. It's more than even the other painkillers. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So since 2020 now, when you seriously got into the scene and decided, now I'm going to be a recording artist, when you recorded your first song, from then on, how would you say that journey has been for you? Has it been an easy one? Has it been a difficult one? Or has it just been what you had expected?
Like for me, I can't say it has been so easy. Because, you know, every journey, whenever someone starts something, it doesn't start just easy. So for me, it has been so hard. Like, you know, the challenges for recording, trying to push your music. So the journey wasn't easy, but all in all, I thank God for where I am now. Yeah, sure.
How different is it for you now? You know, when you're getting into something, of course uko na expectations zako. Unajua nataka nikiingia na expect kutakuwa hivi vile. So when you got into the scene, how different would you say it is from what you had envisioned, you know, for yourself?
So you know, like a village boy, msee anakuanga huko home anasema, hey, nataka nikitoa song wasee wanicheki kwa TV. Then una come up unapata ukishatoa song, man, you know, first song si wote huwa ina work. Kwa wengine huwa work. So unajaribu, una push, then hata sometimes many of people wanakuanga disappointed na their first song. Juu utatoa first song, then maybe haitachukuliwa poa. But for me, I can say naweza shukuru because my first song, it did very well. And ili come vizuri, we were doing some tours, but then that's when Corona came. So kila kitu ikakuwa like shut.
Yeah. But so far so good.
So far so good. I appreciate.
Okay, my DJ amenyamaza hapa sana. Acha ongea kidogo.
Actually, nilikuwa napitia kwa YouTube channel yake nikapata like kuna duration alikuwa. The last song me release ilikuwa like 1 year ago.
Yeah, sure. That's a video, but audio ndio nafanya sana. Yeah.
Alafu kunimeona pia, maybe you can tell us the reason why ulichukua hiyo long uka release your video.
Yeah, so the music I used to do it nikiwa back home, that's in Viga. But now when I had to move from Viga coming to Nairobi, that year changed. It was very hard for me to cope up. So ndio ikafanya at least nichukue break, nijipange kwanza vizuri, nione venye hii nini ya huku Nairobi venye ina work. You know, Nairobi and home is not the same thing. So I was trying to cope up with the Nairobi, then sasa I come up with a new thing. Yeah, sure.
Sasa umeshapata
sasa nimepata rada sasa iko sawa. I'm going to give you back to back. Yeah, sure.
Na nimecheki kuna sijui ni album ama whatever.
It's an EP.
Yeah, I have an EP. Inaitwa Village Boy. Like just me, you know, just humble guy from village. Iko na song 7. That's the latest EP I have. So I guess you can go check my EP. Iko everywhere. It's called Village Boy. Go stream it, YouTube, Boomplay, just everywhere, manzi. And that EP, like I wanted just to do it because nilikuwa nataka nionyeshe people where I came from, you know, a village boy from village coming back here to Nairobi and showing that wanasema jogo wa shamba amewika mjini, so nimekam kuwika mjini.
Wanasema amewika ama hawiki? Wanasema hawiki,
lakini sasa mimi ndo nimekam
kuwika. Swahili teacher.
Yeah, amesema sasa ndo amekuja kuwika.
Yes, amekuja. Wamesema hawiki ndio, lakini amekuja kuwika mjini. We get that. So it's a 7-song
EP. It's just an EP.
Yeah. So just tell me about, if you can just take me through, just roughly the 7 songs, like what inspired these songs, or what inspired the songs to be on this EP? Because najua as an artist, you do many songs.
Yeah, true.
So even when you're working on an EP, you will narrow down. Maybe you have like 15 songs and you need the 7. So what inspired these 7 to be the ones in the EP?
So I came and met up with some other guys from within Nairobi, and nikasema let me try do the song with them, then nione itaendaje, like trying to bring a new thing, trying to work with the people who are well known in this Nairobi. So that's what inspired me, like kujaribu kufanya nao ndo nione how will it go, na iweze kufikia waweze kuwa blessed.
Yeah. So the EPs, you've done collabos?
Yeah, I have.
Who have you worked with?
I have worked with Benke. He goes by the name Mwalimu Benke. I've worked with Hodevani. He's also gospel music. I've worked with the other guy called Mikwid. Yeah. I have three collabos. Yeah, sure.
All right, and of these songs, which one would you say has how would you say, like, has an impact to you directly?
Like for me,
yourself, of the 7. So you can give us 1 or 2.
I have a song called Salama. That song, for my fans, I don't know, you can come up with a song, fans doesn't love it, but for you it's a blessing. I have a song called Salama. I really love that song. Like, that song talks about me. When I say Niko sawa salama nawe, like, I just mean I'm good and I'm okay with God. Everything may be in a mess, but with God, like, I'm just okay. That song really blessed me.
So that's like the one that you feel, this one is close to my heart.
Yeah, sure.
But unasema, like, with the fans, auoni kama wamechukua na the same reception?
Sometimes, before I release a song, I normally go to the fans and nauliza, how do you see this song? Many, you'll just know how someone has liked the song. Someone will tell you, ni mzuri. That one, that one, you'll know, nimechemsha. But once nikitoa song, then nipem say, then, hey bro, now noma hiyo. Now hiyo najonga, it's good. But now wanasema, bro, ni sawa, iko poa.
Vocals ziko tu sawa.
Yeah. So I know they don't like it.
So which is the fans' favorite?
I have a song by the name Deka. They really love that song. It just talk about, like, people, friends that are close to me, they want me to say no to God. But I say I won't say no to God because, like, I know everything that He has done for me. And that song is a breakthrough, and my fans really love it. Yeah, sure.
Okay, but you've not worked on any video?
No,
of the songs?
For the EP?
Yeah, for the EP.
I don't have any video. I have recorded, but I have not released.
Yeah, so is it something that is in the works? Ama umeamua hizo zitabaki zikiwa audio?
No. So ndo nakwambia, niko na videos, so na plan tu siku yenye ndaanza kuzidrop one by one.
You've already shot the
videos?
Yeah.
I've done the shot, bado iko na the director.
Yeah. For all the songs?
Not for all, like, for just few.
Yeah. Salama, of course.
Salama, I've done the video. Nibariki, I have Nibariki there. And Blue Tick also. Yeah.
Oh, Blue Tick ya inazungumzia nini?
Like inasema
Blue Tick ya WhatsApp?
No. Nasema, unaweza tumia mse text anakupiga Blue Tick, but God doesn't do that.
Ndio hiyo nasema. Ndio.
God
hiyo WhatsApp unachapa tu Blue Tick. Wewe unaongeanga tu zinasomwa.
God atakwambia either wait ama ajibu instant ama kwambie no. So haizi kupigisha Blue Tick.
Yeah,
true.
Okay, this is the first EP you've worked on, ama you've done? This is the very first one.
This is the very first one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Are you planning on being that artist mwenye anafanya EPs, anafanyanga albums?
Yeah, of course, that's my dream. So I'm just najaribu kwanza nijipime vile nilikuwa nimwambia sasa hii nimeshika rada. So that's what I want to do. Nataka ni come up na sahi after hii EP, I'm planning on an album. And the album I want just to do like investment in it. Ikikam isichelewe kama hii ingine, like the nikitoa audios zifuatane na videos just back to back. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sijui Unique, maybe unaweza you can come in on this. There are artists who wanaamwanga hii ngoma naifanyia tu audio, like it's just the audio na hafeel ni kama ataifanyia video. I don't know, I've never understood the reason why mtu decide to, like, this one will just go as an audio, maybe hii ndo nitafanyia video. Is there a criteria in picking? Maybe you can just give us your view, alafu yeye pia atatuelezea.
Unajua, for someone to decide like that, maybe tuseme, unajua, most of them maybe finances zinaletanga issue. Because anasema let me save this one because maybe unajua ameandika songs mingi but kuna the best one ndo nataka atole video. So hizi zingine atasema awacha tu niweke tu kama audio ama kama visualizer, spend more on that, I concentrate with the one that anataka ku release the video. So I concentrate kwa hiyo pesa yote ya video
kwa ile.
So hii nyingine anasema awacha tu niweke kama audio.
Kama audio tu iende hivyo. Could there be a reason from just you as an artist, since you're in it, mbona mtu amwe tu hii itabaki tu video audio sitawaifanyia video?
Sometimes mimi naona inaendana na kulingana na fans venye unaweza toa song. Unajua I know kuna watu before toa songs wanaenda wanasikizisha, So utasikizisha, then maybe fans waipende kabisa. Na unasema because fans wamependa hii more than this one, let me do this one the video na hii naache. Na so you see pia si tunaendanga na mafans. So mafans wanaweza kufanya like useme tu ngoma iache ikae nipe yenye wanapenda. Yeah, sure.
Okay. And pia saa zingine huwa mtu ametoa lyric video and that's it. You see? Yeah. Someone like Nyash ile lyric video ilikuwa ya Mungu pekee ama ilikuwa ya
Mungu pekee.
Yeah, and it did so well, you know. I think akaamua hata hakuna haja video hiyo tu ibaki tu hivyo na lyrics. Yeah, it has I think more than million plus or 2 million plus. Yeah, just as a lyric video. So ina depend too. All right, so now Volvo, watu wanapata wapi the EP? Where do they also find you on social media for those who want to now start keeping up with you?
So my EP, you can stream it everywhere, like Boomplay, Spotify, YouTube, just everywhere everywhere where you can go and find music. Just go and support my music. And so for me, you can find me as Volvo. That's VOLVOH. YouTube, it's Volvo Music. Then Instagram is Volvo_official. Then TikTok, it's Volvo JC. JC, that's meaning Volvo for JC, like Volvo for Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. Unique, unatuchezea ngoma gani yake as we finish off with this interview?
Deka.
All right. Deka.
So can I just say like hi to Malaya?
Yeah. Tumesahau kwenye umetoka jamani, sawa. Tuma salamu.
So salamu zangu ziende kwa my dad, najua saya na watch, my mom, Lillian, my dad Silas, my bro Manze, that's a very big fan of mine, Israel. Alafu na wase wa Royal House. Manze, guys, I really love you. Thank you for your support and everyone who's supporting me. Benke, like I just can't name you, Val, everyone. I really say thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me and I won't disappoint you. Thank you.
Sawa sasa.
Kabisa tuko poa.
Ndio kitu imemtoka.
Imemtoka. Sawa. Thank you so much for coming. So Deka it is, you can perform as it plays. Continue right here on Good Morning Kenya this beautiful Thursday morning. With me are the artists that you are just from seeing their song. They go by the name King Vigos, and they classify their music as Afro music. So they are here, they'll talk to us about who they are as artists. It's a duo. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You said you're Eugene and you're Benso.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the show, Eugene. Welcome, Benso. It's a pleasure to have you here. Sasa nataka mniambie individually mziki nyinyi mulianza vipi, because you're a duo, yes, but najua kila mtu alianza kivyake kwanza. So let's start with Benso. Tueleze who you are and how you got into music.
Okay, both we are King Vigos. My name is Benson, and music is something that napenda kuifanya, and muziki nimeanza back then, but primary, and back in primary alafu nikaingia high school. That's when catch up, then nika feel the vibe, but first ni kwa listener, second thing learning lesson, then nikaingia na ikanifit, and I'm very happy because I was able to meet my brother and to team up, because working together is something that must come up with something big. So working together is something like, let me say, it's a dynamic duo.
Okay, you're a dynamic duo. I love that. Eugene, tueleze story yako.
My music journey ilianza, I think it was 2017. If I'm not wrong. Tulipatana shule. Kwa tunasoma shule moja, so
you're in the same high school?
Yeah, in the same high school. So ile design ile in class, unajua ile in class, tuko in class sometimes shamaiza kazi ama preps time, games time, kwa hapo, and then mechill tu na maboys hapo, mna vibe, just vibing. Kapatana na boys wangu pia, juu nilikuwa na vibe hapo, hawaibia mabeshte wangu pale. Tena nikaona ameingia kwa vibe. Kuna tuna vibe So kutoka hapo, and then ile saa tukakuwa tu mabeshte all time, everything we do the same, music nini, so tukajoin hivyo.
Mkaamua sasa you become a duo, you do music together. So the name King Vigos ilitokea wapi, ilikuwa inspired na nini?
Okay, King Vigos is inspired by two people, as you can see. First, he was calling himself like Vigo, and personally I'm King Richie.
Oh.
Yeah. So like, but King Vigos has a very deep meaning. Apart from calling him calling himself like Vigo, calling himself King Richie.
Yeah.
King Vigos, as you all understand that King is a king. You are thinking about the kingdom, you see. Someone is ruling something, you see, the king. Okay, king. So our kingdom, let's say, is the music industry. And Vigos is from the short word from vigorously. If you did chemistry, you really understand.
Unataka kuturudisha hadi chem sasa.
Yeah, you did
Vigorous
chemistry.
reaction.
Yeah.
I love that.
Strong, vigorous is something strong, you know. So king, being a king in a kingdom, you have to be strong, to be able to rule something, you see, to have power. So our industry is music industry. Our kingdom is music industry. So that's why we call ourselves King Vigos, like we are the kings to music industry. But you know, a lot of people call themselves like kings, but personally we take it as something to motivate us. To keep going.
Hey, you guys thought deep. You guys thought deep for sure.
Explanation.
Hey!
Okay.
Wamekupoteza kwa kem.
Now we know.
Hapo ndo uliachwa.
Kwani kem bado unafanya huko? Kem bado wanafanyaga? Bado iko?
Itaenda. You know, wale kila mtu yake imetani into a blue precipitate. Yako inakaa white, sijui inakaa kala gani. Usijali. Say ndo wewe
But we are here.
We are here now. All right, so now immediately now mkamwa sasa, now you guys are vibing. You use the word vibe sana, so you love vibing. So when you decided you guys are vibing mkamwa sasa, now this is a group and we have a name, you know. So you went in fully on it now. After high school, that is. You recorded your first song together. So you've not done songs as solo artists.
No.
You came out as a duo, and you've been doing the music as a duo. Do you find it easier working together than doing it alone?
Very easy.
Okay, I can add on top is like, you know, working together, because working as a one man is very hard, you know. Sometimes, let me say, to say the truth. But working together, you can share the ideas. On the other hand, kama mwenzako akona the same ambition that you personally as a musician, apart from being as a musician, you are lifestyle, you see, like you want to achieve, there's something that you want to achieve in lifetime in future. We find it easier because we're having the same ambition. So we are trying to achieve what we want. So hata tukika pale chini tuongee, we discuss something, inakuwa easy for us to decide this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing, you know. So we follow the same path, and we really appreciate, inshallah, to God, and alhamdulillah.
All the best.
All the best.
So now, Eugene, kuna ile ngoma yenye tumeona as we were starting with you guys. Just tell me a bit about that song. The name of the song, how it came to be.
The name of the song is Some Love. Hii Some Love ilikuwa tulikaa tu chini tukaona tuandike Some Love, just a vibing song. Tuliona hii generation yetu sasa ya majezi. We have to appreciate these our girls. So tulikaa chini tukakama up na idea, tukaandika verse, keka chorus. Tuka vibe kwa mabeshte zetu. Unajua before tuende to release ngoma, lazima tusikizie maboys waseme mtatu wana reply aje. So ile tulimeza hivyo, tukaenda kwa producer, kafanya mambo yake. Ile ngoma ilitoka, watu wali appreciate mbaya sana, na bado inafanya mbaya sana. Some Love.
So it's doing well, you're happy with it.
We are very happy.
Ben, so your style of music mmesema ni Afro music.
Afro. But I don't want to put it in general like Afro, because sometimes as a musician you have to be versatile. Like we can reach today, even we can fit in any style. But first we call ourselves like we do Afro music, like Afro beats. Even Gengeton, if it comes, you know, urban
even
tone,
gospel,
you are good to go, because we write our own music. There's no someone who is writing for us, and if there's someone who can write for us, there's no problem. Like it's business. There will be no problem with that. So, but our music is Afro, but we are versatile. Like this year we have released a gospel song.
Yeah.
So like someone will be like, hivi kama siku yako ya kwanza kutuona, utakuwa unasema we are a gospel artist. No, we are secular artist, and being a secular artist, you have to appreciate God, which means like there is God, you see? In this life, there is God, someone who helps you to go through all the struggles, you know. So
the
our
gospel
style is
song,
Afro music.
the gospel song ambayo release, what's the name of the song and what's the inspiration behind it?
Okay, the song is called Shukrani.
Yeah.
The inspiration behind it is like giving thanks to God, because we have been through a lot since high school till now where we are. No, not even like since high school, from my childhood when I was born, you see, even when kama siku nilikuwa nimezaliwa, the plannings that God has, alikuwa amenipangia nikuje duniani, which means like shukrani is something like to say what I have inside, to tell God like I'm grateful for you for helping me to reach where I am right now. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you go about kuandika mziki? You know, how do you go about writing your music? Kwanza vile mko wawili, creative process yenu inakaje?
Creative process, si music huchukua time. Si kuandika ngoma huwa tunakaa chini, come up na idea. You have to write something that is, niseme aje kwa Kiswahili, tunaeleweka yani. So lazima come up na idea na uandike kitu fiti. Si atuandike tu ngoma. Si huwa tuandike ngoma juu ni kuandika. Unaandika ngoma juu you want someone to listen.
Yeah,
and
so
if I can add something.
Okay.
Like when we are writing a song, it can be like we can be somewhere, we are vibing to something like another song, but that's when we can come up with an idea to write something like a freestyle. So the ideas comes with in a different angles, like class A unaweza kuwa hata uko kwa njia na mabishti zako, you having some vibe, so unapata the idea inakama. Not only like kukaa chini kuandika, before we sit down lazima tukue have like content kwa akili. Bro, hiyo kitu nilipenda, ulisikia aje bro, rudia acheki, so that we can write something and to come
so
up
huwa mna come up na the idea, like the topic you want to talk about. Alafu since mko wawili, unamwambia huyu andike yake, wewe uandike yako, and then now you come and compare notes.
No.
Alafu chorus
mnaandika tukiwa pamoja.
Mnaandika pamoja from start.
You vibe, mimi na vibe, penye shida iko tunarekebisha.
Okay. Okay. Kuna this other song inaitwa Sweetest Place. Tell me about it. As we get to unieleze, alafu DJ will play it for us.
Okay, Sweetest Place is like Kiswahili, sehemu nzuri, si ndio? So like I'm speaking about this girl, you know, anaishi na mimi ama tumekuwa kimapenzi na yeye, like I'm promising to her like I can take you somewhere good, so like I can take you sweetest place. Sehemu nzuri.
Okay, let's get to listen to it and then we come back.
Okay then.
I go take you far away, baby. Far away, baby. I said, Tende Bali, I go take you far away, baby. In the sweetest place, in the sweetest place.
Come to me, baby, baby, come to me. Come to me, baby, baby, come to me. Come to me, come to me. Come to me, baby, come to me. Come to me, baby, baby, come to me. Come to me, baby, baby, come to me. Come to me, come to me. Come to me, baby, come to me.
When you take away, when you chamazima, when you ganga moyo, when you ganga pocho, kwa wengine sina, macho yanapazia. Wajika we mama we, kwako sina chije na kupenda sana we, ila kama shida mtonye pesa we, basi we nipende wele. Kama dunia ya wawili, kupendana hadi kifo, kwako nipo. Asa baby ni asa tell me buddy, I go take you far away baby, far away baby. Asa tell me buddy, I go take you far away baby.
Oh, it's a beautiful song. It's a really, really beautiful song. Kuna mtu specific alikuwa anaimbiwa. I hope alikubali mkaenda.
Kwenye yako huko anatazama.
Aya, it was inspired by a specific person. Mlikuwa mnaandikia wanani? Wako ama ule ameshaji. You've already given it out. But anyway, so it was inspired by a particular person. So what inspires your songs?
Our inspiration, I can say, sijui niweke aje.
Yeah.
Because nikisema nitasema vitu mingi, but what inspires us is tunataka kufika happy, where we want to reach. So we are aiming a higher place, tunataka kuwa pale juu. So behind that pia kuna inspiration, tunasema I'm inspired to do this because of someone, because of the art he or she is doing, you see. So if I have to say, I will say a lot of things, but I will say our goals, our dream. Yeah.
Na mshawahi disagree on a song to release ama mjafika kwa hiyo stage?
Obvious bro.
Obvious. Nini ilifanya mka disagree on a song?
Sometimes tunaenda to record song. But ngoma inaweza toka. But ikishatoka unaenda chini, tunakaa tunasikiza, tunasema hii ngoma, this is not the right time to release this song. So unapata tunasema acha tuweke ending kwanza, tuone itakuwaje. Time yake ikifika tutatoa. Na tukishaamua hivyo, juu tushasikizana, inakuanga tu hivyo.
Yeah. Okay.
Ile mmejipata kuna argument. Wewe unasema unataka tu release, wewe unasema hapana, tu release.
Nimefika on that point, but pia kuna kongana debate. You have to debate, maybe anza kuwa na amesema we release this and it's not the right time. So ndakuwa if mimi mpaso kama mimi nasema ati hapana tufai ku release, so atakuwa anauliza give me the reason, you see. So I'll be lazima niko in that position to give the evidence. Yeah bro, hii msimu unaona ni hii. Hii ni masika, hii ni kiangazi. Nacheki. So pia nakuwa in a position to sema mimi uko na idea, nacheki. So pia nakuwa free in heart.
Muziki inategemea kama kuna floods ama kuna drought. Yes. Enjoy.
Hapo kwamba atumesema masika na
kiangazi.
Yaani inaenda na season.
But anyway, I get what you're saying. So when it comes to music generally, if I ask you kama Eugene pia utanipatia opinion yako, unadhani what makes a good song? Just general, what makes a good song?
In general, I can just say emotions. Juu unaweza kuwa na emotions mbaya na uandike ngoma mbaya. Sometimes unaweza kuwa happy na upate umeandika ngoma nyingine kali sana. So to me personally I can say emotions. Sometimes unaendanga na emotions.
Na emotions. But emotions mbaya maanishi ngoma itakuwa mbaya. Kuna mtu ameandika ngoma saa zile tu amekuwa heartbroken. So yuko kwa emotion ana feel.
That's why ako kwa hiyo emotion anaandika hiyo kumaanisha hiyo.
So so generally tu ni emotions. You feel like if a song imeweza kucapture emotion ya watu, whether in a happy state or a sad state or where someone is feeling heartbroken, hiyo ndo ina make a good song. Okay, what about you Benson?
Repeat the question.
Yeah, nini inafanya ngoma inakuwa this is a good song?
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Season.
Yeah. Kiangazi masika.
Season. For example, sahi kama in Kenya we have these trends, unacheki?
Waves.
Let me say trends, waves, whatever. So tutapata there's time for urban tone, genge tone. behind the curtains utakuta kijana kwa home anasikiza love song vizuri but utapata in social media like ako zile za gengeton kwa sababu sometimes utapata so nimejibio nini answer like season because na depend like in Kenya, mostly in Kenya unapata kuna na trends waves yeah, so utapata kuna time ya hii na hii
yeah, and vile tu umesema, you know, sometimes even our entertainment industry inakuwa driven the trends, what is in right now, what is popping saizi, ni nini na feel ndio, you know, ndio watu wana vibe to at the moment. So there was that wave of not wave, there was that trend, let me not call it a wave because it's here to stay, your trend ya urban tone. You know, when we were in that urban tone, it's still what we're in right now. You know, bado watu wako kwa vibe na urban tone. How come you guys didn't get into the urban tone feel? Kwa sababu you're young people, you know, urban tone mainly ilikuwa for the young people, and it was such, ilikuwa imekuja na heaviness flani. So is there a reason why you didn't jump on board and do at least 1-2 urban tone songs?
Okay. I took a jump in because tulikuwa nataka like kwa sababu ya gengeton, the time gengeton ili hit bia tulikuwa wasanii tulikuwa in. I took release any song that tulisema ni gengeton. Okay. Tulikaa chini tuka watch the way inaenda, and we are what na learn very our tuna learn our industry sana. Kama any time wala nikitoka hapa nitaingia online. Why? I'm an artist, so as manager what we are going through in Kenya as in our music industry. So gengeton ilikuja tukaiona ikatupita, urban tone doi. Even right now we are speaking, sasa kuna hit on back like kuna ile ni urban tone ama gengeton. Saa hii as we speaking.
Gengeton artists are back.
So still we are watching, but if it's possible we can release a song, but lazima tukue na hatuziandika ngoma kwa sababu like is a trend.
Trend na trend.
Vile mwenzangu amesema, tunaandika ngoma kwa sababu ya emotion. When nimekujibu tunaandika ngoma kwa sababu ya season. So yeye yuko hapo, mimi niko hapo sababu ya season, waves, trends. So sana amekataa, ame disagree. But for me personally, ningekuwa kando, ningepoa collabo, I will jump on it. There's no problem. But as I do, I think there will be a
Okay. Okay. So as we almost come to a close to Kimaliza, probably I'm sure you're inspired by different artists. Ama maybe mneko inspired by the same. Who inspires you? Like in terms of of artistry and just the entertainment scene and music. Who would you say? And you ulem say mi naonanga yeah. You know, whatever he does it well.
Kenya
whichever. Okay, you can give me a Kenyan just to support KE, you know, because we are pro KE. So you can give a Kenyan artist and then sana mwingine from wherever.
Our inspiration artist me personally. Kenya iseme Otile Brown.
Otile.
Yeah, Otile inspire sana. Si usikiza ngoma zake sana.
Anaku inspire mpaka Luku.
Luku.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
Kivuka boda Tanzania Mario. Yeah. Juu pia tunapenda vibe yake. Juu pia ukimfuatilia pia ni msanii anapiga Afrobeat, Zouk, hizo ngoma zote. Yeah, unapata.
Ben?
Okay, Tanzania in Kenya. In Kenya vile wamesema is Otile Brown, but kuna wengi. Kuna kina Arrow Boy. Big shout to my brother. And tukienda international, sijui kama mnamjua kwa sababu mimi masikio yangu yanamsikiza, sijui kama namsikiza, anajiita Matan from Tanzania.
Okay.
Kama mjui ende umsearch utamuona Matan. Yeah. He's a really hard working person and napenda style yake since akianza mpaka sai. So I appreciate Matan. Big shout to my brother.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we need to wind up on the interview. Is there anything you wanted to say that you've not said? Is there a song that you needed to mention and I've not asked you about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which one?
This year, like our plannings this year.
Yeah, okay, so
Okay, like we let you to stay, like be ready next week on our platforms. There will be something newbie, itakuwa released. So this year, like we are coming with a different style. Not only different, we are coming with a vibe. we enjoy, and we really appreciate for you guys. And big shout out to my brother Tico and each and everyone who've been supporting us. We love you all. Tuko hapa kwa sababu yenu, na nyinyi najua mnatusikiza kwa sababu we want to hear what we can educate you guys. So we really appreciate for that. And big shout out ni shukuru sana my family. Wanishukuru nisosema hii nitaumia. Nitajua sapa jioni. So nashukuru sana.
Alright, your parting shots?
Mimi nashukuru kwanza my family. Najua wananiwatch saizi, mzae pale madhe, najua wananiwatch. Wao ndio wamefanya niko hapa hivi. Support yao mimi nashukuru sana. All my best friends, King Vigos family, wenye wanajijua. Wako hii support, more support. Sijui kama naweza pea mtu mmoja tu nafasi ya salimie, our stylist.
Akuja
bado is our personal. Sijui nieleze aje.
Hana microphone. Ndio umetuambia kabla ukuje set.
Hata achungulie tu kama ni kamera achungulie.
So wewe big up tu sasa. Ana mic angekuwa amemikiwa before.
Aitwa Tico. Yeah. Ndio msetu wa karibu sana.
Okay. Yeah. So Tico, big shout out to you, by the way. They look good.
Yeah.
They look good. Your style imeweza. Sawa sawa.
Yeah.
All right, that is King those. Okay, that's the dynamic duo, King Vigos. Make sure you go check them out on YouTube as King Vigos. Kila Mali ni King Vigos, right?
Yeah.
Just go check them out. I'm sure you've seen, you've sampled some of their songs. DJ amecheza ngoma zao mbili. For sure they're good artists. So let's go ahead and give them the support that they deserve so that they can be able to get that motivation to keep doing good music and keep releasing good music.
Unavyojika we mama we, kwako sinachijiona kupenda sana we, ila kama shida mtonye pesa we, basi we nipende wele. Kama dunia ya wawili, kupendana hadi kifo, kwako nipo. Asa baby ni asa tende bali, I go take you far away baby, far away. I go take you far away, baby. In a sweetest place, in a sweetest place.
Come to me, baby, baby, come to me. Come to me, baby, baby, come to me. Come to me, come to me, come to me, baby, come to me. Come to me, baby, baby, come to me. Come to me, baby, baby, come to me. Come to me, come to me, come to me, baby, come to me.
Subiri, mimi sina. Mpaka mjanja kwako baby mimi sina. Ushanichanganya akili nishazima. Usiogope moyo wangu unamtima. Kama mbele sioni. Bila
And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Entertainment Thursday right here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Dagwa. My DJ is Unique the DJ. And right now I am joined by Thespians. Let me call them Thespians. Yes, we have Faith Karemi Mudhoni. She is an actress at Igiza Arts Production. And then we also have Sam Ouma, who's a stage manager and actor as well. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Saizi mnaka mmetulia na sasa on the other side you guys were really dancing, so please
it's serious.
Please,
when
it's
serious business.
Yes.
As an actor, you switch from one personality to the other.
By the way, you guys are you're actors, so
quick.
yeah. Ningefaa kuwa nimeshaiona because you were very bubbly over there. You were dancing. I was just saying you, hey, are you artists or actors? It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Maybe just give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Yeah.
My name is Samuel Ouma, son to Opondo. I am an award-winning professional actor for both theater and film since 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yourself?
My name is Faith Karimi Mudhoni. I am an all-round artist. So I dance, I sing, I act. I'm a vocalist. I'm a voiceover artist. everything an artist can be under the sun, apart from drawing. That's why I draw the line. But professionally, I
both drawing. That's nice.
Yeah. You only draw
Professionally,
conclusions.
Okay.
Professionally, I'm a digital marketing professional, and I also dabble in data science and financial advisory.
Hey. Hey. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Data science and
financial advisory.
Oh, that's really rare to find, though.
Really?
Okay. Maybe it's just me and the people I've interacted with, but most artists, most people in the arts, you know, scene or business are not really good with mathematics. So, yeah, I'm also speaking for myself.
Okay, I love numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers, I think I've loved numbers since, I want to say nursery school. Math has been my favorite subject through and through.
Okay.
So, yes, and I also can act and sing. And, yeah, I guess I can do all.
Sawa, God's favorite, we get it.
Blessed one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I would love to get to just understand where your love for acting came from. So I want to take you way, way, way back, beginning with you, Sam. Just what was your first interaction with film? Just take me back to when you realized, okay, there's something known as movies, there's films. Just take me back there.
Right. I've majored in theatre. I've only done a few film projects. So I'll talk about theatre mainly. And I believe I am an actor by birth. I was born to be an artist, not an actor, an artist. I was born to be an artist because even my side hustles, you realize that in one way or another, they are in the creative space. I started acting like ile kuanza vizuri in 2016.
2016.
A man named Nick Mudama still is a director with the Strathmore Drama Society. Yeah, I went to Strathmore, Karims. With the Strathmore Drama Society. And this is the man who introduced me to the shrine. By the shrine, I mean the stage where we act. He believed in me, and the ripple effect of that made me believe in myself more. I remember the first play I did with the Strathmore Drama Society, shout out to you guys, was a play called Pillars of Society. It's an adaptation, because Drumsock majorly stages classical plays. So we get classical plays, we adapt them to the Kenyan society and stage it. So the first one I did was Pillars of Society. I think it's by Oscar Wilde, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I stand to be corrected. And he gave me the main role. Now, in 2016...
First role was your main...
Yes.
Your first role was a main role.
My first role on stage was a main role. And I think that's why everywhere I go, I just give main character energy. Yeah. Give it to me. Yeah, so MACU, Drumsock had been in existence for, I think, since 2010, 2011. So, of course, there are guys who were before me. I was there with the director of Threads of Trust, Mr. Martin Abuya, the best playwright of original scripts in the 254.
For sure.
I was there with another member of the cast who is called Jeff Obonyo. We were together in Strathmore. I was there with Linda Kamuri, who's also a cast member in the upcoming production, Threads of Trust. So since 2016, 2017, I think I left in 2019. And then, you know, just like high school, when you leave campus, there's that period where you just know what to do. Right? You're looking for jobs. So in the process of looking for a job, I found myself with the Theatrics Arts Ensemble. managed and directed by the great David Aliwa. And then we did traveling theater until when Corona hit, I think in 2020, March. And then we were forced now to go to online. You know, we're doing monologues, Theatre Thursdays by Maureen Wairimu. And then, you know, those challenges that you do online. 2020 Corona, and then by the time unatoka Corona, kama ulikuwa unawaka red, Corona inakupoesha. Well, for most of the guys, I think Naziad Nasenya would have a different story. For most guys, you'll find, ay, umepoa. So I went into corporate for a few months to try my hand in corporate. I landed myself a job as a customer service representative. And up until December, I think, is it? So I was in and out of theater because the nature of my job did not allow me to be on stage as much. So I was in and out of theater. And then September 2024, last year. Yeah. I decided, you know what? Adios muchachos corporate. Now, twende sasa usanii. Come watch me now, let's do it. And I came back big and better, unbelievably so, with production, with Igiza Arts production called The Miser. Guess who was playing The Miser, Vivian?
You are?
Yes,
main character energy always.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And The Miser has given us, as a production and as an individual, good things, which we will talk about later in the show.
All right.
And here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Wow.
Here we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's taken almost 10 minutes. Wow. Okay. All right, over to you now, Faith. Just where did your love for acting come from? When did you first interact with it?
I first interacted with acting. Do I say acting? Because the first gig that I had was from my mother. So my mother is a forester by profession, and they used to have these celebrations for environment, forestry. So she wrote for me a poem that I said in front of people. I was in class 5, I think. I'm in a certain magazine, mkinitafuta mtanipata.
Say it with your chest, girl.
Yes. So that's the first gig I can say that I got. So I did a poem when I was in class 5. And then after that, I transferred school. Hey, I was in many schools, but I transferred schools, and then I went to a boarding school when I was in class 7. And there I started with the drama in school. I mostly used to do solo verses, actually. Mostly solo verses. And then when I transitioned into high school, I did narratives. So most of my acting on stage hasn't actually been plays when I was in high school. It was solo verses, narratives, just, 2 characters on stage, max. And then I transferred high schools, and then I went to a new high school, but now I couldn't join drama club for reasons best known to other people. But like, I couldn't join drama at that time. So I took a break for like the last 2 years of high school, and then I joined campus in 2016. Now, Igiza started in 2017, and I was among the pioneer actors with Igiza. So I actually joined it because someone else dropped off, so I was given their role for a certain play. It was a rerun. So I did that, and then from there I went on with Igiza until let's say end of 2018. Then I took another break to finish, to concentrate on my studies. People were saying actuarial is hard. So, I was like, okay, sawa, let me concentrate. So I finished my campus. And then, okay, COVID hit. So I think you have to take a break because of, all the regulations that were there. And then 2021, I got into corporate. A few months after graduation, and then as I was in corporate now, I joined back Igiza, either end of 2021 or 2022, but I was just, you know, here and there. And then I did corporate for 3 years. Yes. And then in August of 2024, I decided, because I wasn't doing digital marketing in corporate, I was doing something else. So I decided to focus on digital marketing and theater and, you know, acting, singing, all that stuff. So I left corporate in 2024, August 2024. And yeah, you're about to see more of me now on stage.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, I love it. So now let's get into Threads of Trust, which is a play that you are actually, that's why you're here.
Yes.
You're here to talk about Threads of Trust.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. First of all, just a small synopsis of what it's about. Okay, you can't say a small synopsis, just the synopsis.
The synopsis.
Yeah,
three sentences.
Three sentences.
No, it's fine. Just tell us the synopsis of Threads of Trust.
So Threads of Trust is an original script by, again, the great and the best playwrights in the 254.
Even unatafuta kazi kila saa. Asiwahi kuacha nje.
It's the truth.
By the truth. You know.
Yeah.
So original play by Martin Abuya, who's also directing it. It's about the everyday challenges that we face in relationships. And this particular relationship is the romantic one. And you get to see how a couple navigates the challenges they face both internally and externally. And, you know, I don't want to give it out, but, you know, the solutions, you get to understand how you navigate from this point to the other without, you know, compromising what the two of you share together. So it's a very entertaining yet enlightening script. You get to see yourself on stage. You get to relate to each and every individual, either at a personal level or, you know, by a story you heard from somebody else. So yeah, that's Threads of Trust for you.
That's what it's about without giving away too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too
So
much.
who are you playing in the play?
I'm playing a character called Esther, and this is the first time I'm doing such a character. I've never been...
What is Esther like?
Esther is very soft, very calm, very
Demure.
collected, very demure. Normally, I'm usually... you know, I'm given the heated roles, but this time, tumeanza mwaka vizuri. No, have I really?
Yeah, Flight 1963.
I was not a tomboy. I was just a poor economy passenger.
Okay.
What are you?
Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
But yes, Esther is very cool, calm and collected, and the voice of reason. Yes. And I'm excited about it because it's the first time I'm doing such a soft role. And I honestly can't wait for you guys to see me on stage.
Yeah.
Who are you playing?
I am playing a character called Adam. Adam is...
Is Adam the main character?
Come on.
Okay.
No, don't make me say it.
Okay.
I'm shy.
So what does Adam do? What's the role of Adam in the play?
The role of Adam in the play is to... he's the fiancé?
Yes.
To
no.
Okay. That no was so big.
Yeah.
That was a big no.
He's a fiancé to a very lovely character called Maya, which is played by Milka Wangoi. Shout out to her. My role in the play, I would say, is to reflect or to inform men, tell men, enlighten men on how to go about their romantic relationships. And yeah, simply because the challenges Adam is going through in the script are challenges I have gone through
in real life.
Personally, in real life.
Was the script written about you?
No. No, but I feel like Abuya had a dream or something.
Dreams that you have, you're transparent. He's always having dreams.
Karim.
Yes. Okay.
And then no, someone else has the same dream. And I'm like,
Samuel, Prophet
Yeah.
Samuel. Because tell me why. It's just my life here, like this. I'm reading my life.
So it's not really a hard role for you or a tough role for you, because it's basically just you.
It's
in one way or the other.
Not really, because each and every role you get to play on stage, you have to bring a unique character.
Yeah, that's
so in as much as I've gone through it in real life as Sam, I need to act as Adam. And Adam is a totally different person. Adam is not my age. Adam does not do what I do. Adam believes in totally different, in as much as the story is similar, there are beliefs that are different from Adam. Na zile beliefs is a Sam. So yeah, it's a challenging role. One, because like Karim's, I've never played a romantic role.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I have been accused before of not being romantic on stage.
Okay, on stage.
On stage.
Underline in
on
bold.
stage. Yeah, and those accusations have been. There's a play I did with Queva. Shout out to Queva. Hey, leo napiga mashout out. Nini kazi? Hey, shout out to Queva. A play called Kiri. Oh, I loved Kiri. And Kiri was a gangster who was a romantic man. I struggled. I thrived in the gangster bit of it, but when it came to the romance, we fought with the director. We fought. So yeah, that's the role I'm playing.
Okay, so now I want you to, I want both of you to let me know, how do you get into a role and how do you de-role after? Because there's the getting into a role, and now you also need to leave that person that you were playing there when you're going to about your business now as yourself.
Right.
So how do you get into a role and how do you de-role out of it?
Okay, from my previous experience, not Esther, it was very easy for me to get into that role because it was very heightened, and most of them they were like angry or like not soft, you know, just like going all out. And during that time in my life, I don't want to say I was a very angry person, but I was.
You are bitter.
I was a little bit. So getting into that role wasn't so hard. Also, de-rolling wouldn't be hard because it's just, you know, going back to your everyday things. But also research does really help, and watching a lot of either theater or movies, it helps with the exaggerated emotion that you need to have on stage so that it's clearly evident on your face. But it also helps if you are a very expressive person like myself. I have a filter for my mouth, but my face, that's it's different. But for Esther, for me, I'm learning how to be in my soft girl era. I'm learning to be more understanding, more calm, collected. So every day I try to be 1% better. And I feel like it's also helping me like in real life, because I'll be a soft person at the end of this.
So de-rolling is the easiest thing to do for you?
For me, yes, de-rolling is easy.
Okay. How do you get into it and how do you de-roll?
Nick Mudama used to tell me that acting is real life on stage, at least for theater, and in front of a camera for film. So how I get into a role after reading the script, every day I meet different people. Because once you read the script, you understand. I don't know whether I'm supposed to take you through the preparation of a production, but the first step we usually do is script analysis, table read and script analysis. You get to analyze the setting of the script and each character. So once you have that solidified, for me, every day I go through the hustle and bustle of life. Like if I'm coming from my house to town, you meet different characters. and you can borrow some of those things that they are doing naturally
Yeah.
without even acting. And then you bring it on stage. Another way I get into a character is sometimes we are theater lovers, so we watch our colleagues on stage.
Yeah.
And there are those characters that will inspire your character for an upcoming production. Unlike Esther, Karim's, you know, that's the thing. Because once you get into a character, you, like, this is not Karim's to me.
Yeah, I know. I get that 100% because I've been part of a production and they just call each other the names they play, not your actual name.
Like you have to live, you have to live, be the character.
Yeah, be the character.
So unlike Esther, derolling for me is difficult. The other day we were having rehearsals. And then Martin Abuya was like, Sam, no, that one I saw it in the Miser, drop it, drop it.
So you tend to pick roles that you've played before, like they kind of now become part of you?
They become part of you, yes. It's a challenge for me. Because even the previous play that I did with the Giza was 12 Angry Jurors. And I could see bits of juror number 10, because I was playing juror. I could see bits of juror number 10 in the Miser. So the rolling for me is very a challenge, but you know. Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know?
I guess we'll never know.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So now, you know, both of you are stage actors. Do you do film, like, or you're just stage actors? For you, you've majored on the stage and that's where you feel comfortable, that's where you love it?
No, I've done a few cameos on film. Do I need to mention them?
Yeah, they're called cameos, bro.
Cameos.
Basi nimetokeleza. Yes, actually there's Tahidi High. I've done like 2 episodes.
Really?
You didn't know?
No.
Superstar.
Okay.
Yeah, they're dropping actually this next month, February. Yes, in February. I've also like done, you know, behind the scenes. Wale wase wakutembea pita hapo. You know, yeah. I've done a few of that. I've done a few scenes. Ulabalu, Wenjoni. Yeah.
Yeah.
But would I do film full time?
Yeah.
Not without theater.
Not without
theater. Yes.
So what is it about theater that you love? What is it? Just explain to me the feeling you get while you're on stage. You know, with theater, you have the audience there. With film, well, it was just you and the camera and the cast members and the directors and, you know, just the crew.
And
you know, you don't see the person behind the camera. Yes, and there are takes, you know, cuts, but with theater now, it's you on stage and the audience. If you're blundering, you just blunder because, you know, so just give me the feeling that you get when you're on stage.
Exhilarating. I love being on stage because you get to portray a certain emotion to the audience and see them take it up. It's beautiful. I think I prefer theater to film because I can be more myself in theater than in film. And also in theater you have the discipline. You know, you have to get the lines the way they are, or like, you know, at least get the gist of the monologue before that. And I feel like it pushes more bounds than film. And my facial expressions are always over the top. So at least I get to use them fully. And yes, that's one thing I love about theater. Yeah.
Yourself, Sam?
Terence Mann said, and I quote, "Movies will make you famous. Television will make you rich, but theater will make you good."
Yeah.
For you to be famous and rich, you have to be good at whatever it is that you're doing. Even conmen. Like, if you have to make it in the conmanship, you have to be good at what you're doing. So I feel like
that's the only practical example you could
even stealing, even hosting.
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna start with something like that.
Even
Not
DJing.
stealing, con men.
You know why I say because people think stealing is easy.
Yeah.
People think conning people is easy. Like I'll just come and tell you nipe or tuma kwa hii number, school fees. You know those messages.
Yeah.
People think it's easy.
Yeah.
We've changed the rent
But
account.
Yeah, I've gotten that.
Right.
Yeah.
Juicy. Okay, let's not talk about conmanship. But people tend to think that some of these criminal activities are easy. And to be really honest, if you get into those guys' shoes, I've never been in those guys' shoes.
Wow, questionable. A bit questionable. But,
On stage, I have. On stage, I have. But it's not easy. So, in as much as I want to go into film for fame and for wealth, but I also want to ground. I want to have my feet grounded in theater, so that as I'm becoming rich and famous, I'm also being good.
Yeah.
So I want to do both film, but theater is usually the first love. Ask any artist on television; they'll tell you their first love was theater. Some of them, 20 years down the line into the film industry, they'll come back to theater.
Yeah.
Once in a while. So theater is where it all begins.
And I think also to add on to that, in theater you can get to explore a lot more, not just acting. You can get to be a stage manager, you can get to be, the person in charge of the lights, the person in charge of the sound. So you get to learn a lot more in theater than you would in film. Because in film, kazi yako ni kukaa mbele ya camera. But in theater, you can do a lot more and actually expand your skills. So
now that you've mentioned stage manager, you are a stage manager. Probably there's someone who's watching and they don't really understand who a stage manager is. In the simplest of words.
In the am I using big words? I don't think I've used any big words so far.
No, in the fewest.
I was going to, but
in the fewest of words. That's what I meant. Yeah, in the fewest of words.
Okay.
Who's a stage manager?
A stage manager is like the boss of a particular production. So I am the one who's running the show. I'm the one who will come up with a rehearsal schedule. I will be in charge of course, by also delegating, I'll be in charge of props, the stage set, I'll be in charge of the audience, I'll be in charge of the director. The director answers to me. The producer answers to me. If the producer is answering to the stage manager, the actors, do they have a choice? They don't. So a stage manager is the leader or the person who runs.
So you ensure everything runs.
Yes, yes.
On stage.
You also ensure that we are fed and we have energy.
Like every aspect of a production, stage manager. In film, I'd liken a stage manager to
producer?
Okay.
No?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
Because film was wengi wanafanya different things.
Okay, as we wind up, you will be telling us when Threads of Trust is showing, and also where exactly and all that. But just for someone who's watching and would love to get into theater, what makes a good theater actor? What makes a good stage actor?
Stage.
Yeah, or theater, just theater.
Authenticity. Because people really feed off that. Despite the fact that you're acting someone else on stage, we can see your authenticity on stage.
Yeah.
So being authentic, not being afraid, and taking the biggest leap possible.
Yeah. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. Action, reaction. Like, you give me a particular line, I'll give you a response according to my character. So if you're lying to me, if you've hit me, and the way I'm reacting, it does not look like I've been hit, you're lying to us. So yeah, authenticity.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so where is Threads of Trust showing? When?
Threads of Trust is showing at the Kenya National Theatre
February 8th and 9th. Both days we have 2 shows each day, so at 3 p.m. and at 6 p.m. You can get your tickets at www.igizaarts.co.ke/Karims.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slash Kareem's.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through to the show.
Thank
and
you.
all the best on that play and the rest that will be coming your way. Yeah, I'm planning on coming to watch it.
Please do.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Before we wind up, I think it's at this point that I will mention that Igiza Arts Production has been nominated 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
In the 4th edition of the Kenya Theatre Awards.
Yes. She said you didn't have to mention 4th, but it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
You have 6 nominations?
Yes,
6 nominations.
Oh.
6 nominations.
Can you mention them very quickly?
Yeah.
The
Very,
6?
yeah, of course. The producer
Of the year?
Producer of the year. Theatre Company of the year. Best breakthrough male performance of the year.
That's him.
That's
Uma.
myself.
Yes.
Congrats.
We have Edna, we have best playwright, original play.
Yeah.
Martin Abuya. We have best
female performer in a
actor
leading
in
role.
a leading role
Yeah.
and
That's
a
Edna.
supporting role.
Yes.
That's Edna Karaoke. She's been nominated twice this year. Last year she also got nominated.
Yeah, she also got nominated last
So yeah,
year.
6 nominations.
6 nominations.
Kenya Theatre Awards.
Kenya Theatre Awards.
Congratulations.
How to vote? Because you need to vote.
Yes.
You will go to voting.kenyatheatreawards.com.
Yes.
Okay.
And then through those categories,
You'll find
those names. You'll find Edna Karaoke. You will find Edna Karaoke twice. You'll find Sam Ouma. You will find Reina Mandu. You will find Martin Abuya.
Okay.
And you will find Igiza Arts Production.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And all the very best. I hope you get to bring all of those home.
Oh, yes,
yes,
we will.
yes, yes.
Oh, yes.
All right, Sawa. So my DJ is on standby. We are not going to leave here without us dancing. Lakini najua kamera ziko chini since we were seated, right? So I don't know DJ ataanza kucheza so that camera people wacheze kama ombio and then warudi kwetu, sawa?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much for coming through to the show. It was a good conversation. This is where we say goodbye to you right here from Entertainment Thursday. We've had a lovely show.
Right.
I believe that you, back at home or wherever it is that you're watching the show from, has also, I believe that you've also just gotten to enjoy yourselves just as much as we have right here. This is where I say goodbye. My name is Vivian Ndagwa, alongside Unique the DJ. Entertainment Thursday happens each and every Thursday morning from 6:30 a.m. See you next Thursday, same time, and please, God willing,